It's right behind you.
Hi, this is Avital Ash.
I'm Jessica Richards.
And this is
Anna Lori.
On.
He's right behind you.
Ah! Hey, Anna.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me,
Happy
you guys.
Galentine's Day.
Happy Galentine's Day to you and our listeners. All 6 of you.
Wow. They're probably all women, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but everyone's included in Galentine's Day.
That's true.
All genders can have a Galentine's Day.
That's right. What do you want people to know about you? You're an actor. You're a writer. You're a performer.
That's true. General entertainment.
Yeah.
Generic overall. You know what I mean? When it's like a category, you have to select a drop down from a category.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
That's
the
you.
arts.
Entertainment / media.
I did a mic the other day, and the guy at the counter was like, "Hey, I like your work," and it was because of Katie, the series that you made that I was in.
Who was the guy behind the counter?
His name was like Fish Cake or something.
Oh, that's a very memorable name.
Yeah, I asked if he knew you, and he didn't. He just saw it and likes us
What?
both. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
He knew your name and my name.
What?
So
Wow.
you can check out Katie on the
Katie shows
internet.
up. So you know how on your IMDb it has like the biggest known for essentially.
Yeah.
It's like the 2 TV shows that I've been in, and then Katie is like up at the top, and I'm like, why? Katie is just a fun sketch that Avital and I and our friend Shireen did and worked on, and Ben Cornelius shot, and yeah, Katie would be fun to look at. You can look at it on my YouTube.
Yeah.
And I keep threatening to do a
shorts.
season 2. Micro shorts, yeah.
Yeah, let's
So
do
how
a
short is
season 2.
that?
Each one's like
About a minute or less.
yeah.
Yeah, it just is. It's a long vine, you know.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
so fun.
Yeah, I think it's people. I've got a lot of compliments on it, and I think it's A, because it is shot so well. It's very easy to watch, and B, because it's not like there's no lead in. You know what I mean? It's not like there's no story to follow. Like you could watch one and just leave it and be like, okay, interesting.
It's basically a character study.
Yeah, and it's like.
You likened it to a comic book, which I like.
Yeah,
or
comic strip, right? It's like exactly. That was kind of what I was doing with it. Was like a video comic strip.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's not even like laugh out loud funny. It's just like what am I watching?
And we're always in the same clothes, like the comic book characters.
Yep. It's
or comic strip.
very
characters.
dear to me.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's also special because it's like one of the first things that I actually just made. Like I'm always
that's
like,
so
I'm gonna
cool.
make something, and then I'm like. It's
and then you
weird.
fucking did.
Yeah, and then I did. Yeah, I mean, with the help of a lot of people. I mean, it was like everyone labor of love, which was really fun. But it's nice when people do that, and then it turns out to be a thing that you like and like that you can share and like. Yeah, Katie's a good experience. I love Katie. Yeah, go watch Katie on my YouTube. I think my YouTube's just Anna Lori, ANNALORE.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. What is your relationship with horror?
I feel like horror is like something that you get used to. Like I used to not be able to watch horror at all. Like the scariest movie I saw was The Orphanage, which we've talked about. Like that was like peak horror for me, like back in the day. But yeah, I feel like I just ended up watching a lot more better horror content. I feel like has been coming out in the last 10 years. Like a lot of the like Get Out and Hereditary and like all of these like really major horror films that aren't just grotesque and scary. They're like, I mean, if a horror fan heard me say that, right, they'd be like, what the hell, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, there is like a genre of horror that's just that.
Yeah, and it's like, it I don't know, something about it feels more accessible to me because like the story
Or
is
sect of
so-
horror, I guess, because horror is the genre. But yes.
Yeah,
there's
there's so many kinds of horror, which
Yeah.
is why I think it's like you can be a fan of horror and meet someone who likes horror and you guys hate
the
like,
same.
yeah,
Yeah, the
or
movie.
it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I
There's no
love the movie. I
crossover.
hate that movie.
Right, or I just for the longest time thought I didn't like horror and wanted to do this podcast to start watching horrors. And so many of my favorite movies are horrors. I just never thought of them that way.
Like what?
Like
which ones?
Jaws.
Oh,
I
interesting.
just think of as its own category.
So funny. One of the first, I don't know if this is horror necessarily. You can tell me, I guess. But I used to work when I was in high school, I worked at an independent movie theater in Iowa. And so I got to see free movies. And so I was like, went in on my day off and I wanted to see Get Low with Bill Murray.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Well, I've never seen it either because it was sold out or something had
Okay.
happened where I couldn't see it. My manager was like, well, have you seen Piranha? And I was like, well, no. I was like, I don't really like scary movies. He's like, oh, it's not scary. And so I went to go see Piranha 3D, like the first remake from like it was 2009 or 2010 or something, I think. It's so I don't know. Is that horror? Is that gore?
I think that's horror.
Yeah, it's a creature feature.
Yeah, and It was fucking terrifying. I was like, what the? And I was the only person in the whole theater just watching like, oh my
that's so
God.
scary.
And then there's like this like an underwater valley where the piranha come out of, and there's a scene where they're like scuba diving into this like gorge like under. Oh my God. It was so, ugh.
And you said the orphanage scared you a lot. So
The
what scares you
orphanage.
most in horror movies?
Well, so that's what I was kind of saying is like it used to be a creepy visual.
Mm-hmm.
Like the white eyes, like dead, rotting face, kind of like that kind of stuff used to like be utmost scary to me. But then after you see enough horror, it's kind of right. It's like you just get used to it. Like you're like, oh yeah, here we go. But, although The Nun did fucking terrify me. Did you guys see The Nun?
I didn't see The Nun. I'm so scared of those
my
Conjuring
God.
movies. I can't.
Oh my God. Okay, there's this scene where this one of the nuns dies. Is this a spoiler to
That's okay.
talk about a movie on here? I don't know.
I guess it depends how deep, but we
It's
can
not a
always cut
huge
it out.
spoiler
Okay.
for the movie,
Okay.
but it's just a creepy part that, like, if you listen to what I'm about to say, you'll be denied that creepy part of the movie.
Okay,
Right?
so audience has been warned. You can jump ahead if you are dying to not have the nun
To not
spoiled.
have this one specific part of the nun spoiled. So the opening scene is a nun has like hung herself in this convent, and like there's this like body that's like a crow's like eating it, and it's like dripping blood or whatever. So this father from the Vatican or whatever has come to like look at this like desecrated convent or whatever's happening. And he like takes the nun's body down, and he ends up putting it in like there's like a refrigerator, basically, whatever the old timey version of a refrigerator. I don't know if it's like just in the ground. I don't know how they keep it cold. I can't remember. He takes this body and he like kind of wraps her up and he leaves her in there to like go do something else, and then he comes back later and he brings someone else back in with him. And the other person's like, "Oh yeah, I see the body right there." And the guy's like, "She wasn't sitting up when I left her here." And like the body's like sitting up, and her face is all wrapped up too. So his body's like sitting up in this like foggy, cold cooler. And it's like so, the moment is so casual. It's just like that body is sitting up now. You know, and the other person's like, "Oh yeah, there's the body." And she's like, "Oh, that body went, oh, I get chills."
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it's
I got chills.
That kind when I watch these kind of
and
scary
then I think her
movies,
head like turns towards
no, that's
you know
I'm
what
just
I mean?
like, nope, Brad, nope.
Yep,
Don't want to
yep.
watch this. Makes me so uncomfortable. Ghost stuff.
But that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, I feel like I'm more used to it now.
Yeah.
And but the other thing is the reason I like a story is because otherwise it feels like torture porn. Like
Right.
I'm not in it to just see like bad things happen to people.
I'm with you.
I don't
100%.
love that. Yeah.
It's about the story. And
Like Pet Sematary is like that, where it's just like a bunch of terrible things happening.
Yeah.
And Hereditary is too, right? It's like these are just people trying to live their lives, and it's just like bah, bah, bah,
Yeah.
bah, bah. Like,
Hereditary is not like a feel-good horror movie.
oh no.
No.
There's no like I like a comeuppance. Like I like a fight back, a like
Yeah.
hopeful ending, you know?
Mhm. Or at least mixed.
Which I kind of feel. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I feel like this is a hopeful ending to me in a way. Like I feel like it's a nice ending. It's not
I agree.
bleak. There's something a little bit like
I think
Girl
so too.
power.
Well, we'll get to the movie in 1 second. We have 2 more questions for you.
Please.
One is, what is the scariest thing you've seen? Maybe in a horror, maybe in your imagination, maybe something you read,
Oh my god.
maybe
yeah, is there
something
anything
you've
that sticks
experienced.
with you?
Yeah, so I have 2. So one is that when I travel, I often get sleep paralysis. If
Oh,
I
God.
if I do a time change, I get sleep paralysis.
Somebody needs to really do a horror on sleep. I'm sure it exists, but
So something that can happen when you get sleep paralysis is like when you sleepwalk, your mind is asleep. When you go into REM, your body puts itself into paralysis. I am staying here because I'm unconscious. When you sleepwalk, the paralysis turns off, your mind is still asleep, right? So you're walking around, but you're unconscious. Sleep paralysis is the inverse, where your mind wakes up, but the paralysis of you should be asleep is still happening.
Both of those are terrifying.
Yeah.
Both of them are terrifying. The
totally.
fact that they can operate without the other one
Yes.
is terrifying.
Yeah.
So, but then what happens is you can go into fight or flight, which basically, I mean, I love this explanation. I'm sure your listeners are going to be like, no, it's this. It's your another dimension. It's another realm. But you create like figures, human figures. You can see human figures. So I was in this
a lot of
hotel
people
room.
report seeing like a shadow man.
Yeah, so that's what
Ugh.
happened.
Okay.
Is I was in my hotel room, laying on my back, looking up. You wake up and you can kind of see, but you kind of can't. It's like your eyes are half open and flickering, and just right over me is just a person, like
Oh, she's doing it to me. I don't like it.
like right over me, and I was like, oh my,
And did it look like a human person to you?
It's like, it was basically like a exact outline of a human person, like
Jesus.
standing over my bed, and I'm like, oh my God, there's someone in this hotel room with me. You can't scream. You're trying to scream, and you can't, just like in a dream. And eventually, I'm flickering my eyes, and the thing flickers with, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, that is not a real solid thing. That is a thing.
It could be a real thing, and if your eyes were flickering, it would flicker.
I mean,
as your eyes close, you would.
It was
not
like I
see
could
the
see
person.
through it.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, I don't know how to describe it, but
like a ghost in a movie.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it was. Eventually, I was like, okay, that is not real. Like, that is from, because it basically feels like you're having a dream, and like parts of the dream are still happening while you can see the room that you're in.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
I've had a version of that where once years ago, and then once more recently with Amir, where I woke up because I could like sense somebody or I saw somebody, and so I sat up in bed and was like looking at a person's face, and I screamed, and then he woke up and like sat up and looked at me, and I saw like where the face had been was now Amir's face. And I was like, why are you up? He's like, because you screamed. I'm like, and then you sat, like I was trying to figure, I still don't know if I just happened to see somebody where he would ultimately like, he moved into that position.
Jeez.
It was very scary.
See, I have a lot of lucid dreams where I know I'm dreaming, but I can't wake myself up.
I've only ever had one of those.
Where I have those all the time, and if I have one, I'll have like 3 that night.
It's fun, and you've never had paralysis, because these often
No,
come.
I have them where I'm literally like in the dream screaming, trying to be like, wake up, you have to wake up, and I can't, and it's like a suffocating feeling.
Wow.
I'm like screaming at my husband who's in bed next to me, but
Wake
I
me
can't
up.
wake him up. Yeah.
My ex also used to get sleep paralysis, and one time he was able to like breathe fast, and that's the only time either of us have ever had like a successful like, I am having paralysis, wake me up.
Wow.
I could hear him breathing fast, and I was like, oh, and I like shook him up, and I was like, oh my God, and he was like, oh man, thank God. And like, yeah, because you can't do anything, like you can't. Yeah, like in Haunting of Hill House, there's a scene where she has sleep paralysis, and she like is like whimpering and like gently hitting her boyfriend. And we were both like, bullshit. No way.
The other night, Amir fell asleep and I was reading, and he had his hand sort of like on my throat. Ugh. And then he suddenly squeezed it.
No!
Yes, like he suddenly started choking me, but he was having a bad dream.
Oh my God.
And then I woke him up / like I kind of screamed, and then he was like, what happened? I was like, you just choked me. Were you having a bad dream? He was like, I don't remember. Like there was no part of him that had any idea.
That's terrifying.
You're going to be killed in your sleep. For sure.
Yeah.
So the other scary thing that I saw was The Woman in Black, not the Daniel Radcliffe movie, but the fucking live play in London is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen to this day.
Wow.
Like movies bar none. That play is fucking terrifying.
Why?
Like I couldn't sleep.
You're so excited.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it because like I don't know if you're going to go to London and see this play, but
So jump ahead if you don't want to have spoilers.
Or
for
maybe
the play.
you can say in a vague, or you can't say it vaguely.
I just want to say this one part, which is that, so the whole story is a man telling a story. So like it's like a narrator type thing where it's like it starts off, he's like an old man and he's telling the story of this thing that happened to him when he was younger about the woman in black, who basically is like this thing that sort of came to haunt him for no reason. Sort of like a telltale heart thing, but with like a person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this thing that will never. So, oh my God, I have like I feel sick. Like I have goosebumps.
Yes.
So there's this amazing scene. So he's like, he's like blah, 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 blah. And then they take you back in time to this like cathedral, this chapel, right? And he's in the chapel with this man, and they're at, I don't know, I think it's someone's funeral. I can't remember whose funeral, but it's just the two men standing there, and there's like the dappled light coming, this beautiful set, and like church bells, whatever. Present guy is narrating what's happening. He's basically saying like, a woman came in, and then like suddenly just fucking through the aisle, this woman in black starts like gliding down the aisle. So like all of a sudden you're sitting there, and then she's like there. Oh fuck. It was so terrifying the way she comes in. And then she's there in the aisle, like waiting in the aisle, and then eventually the man's like, who was that woman that came to the service? And the other man's like, what do you mean? You know, like that kind of thing. And then there's like like some kind of crazy noise or something, and she's gone. I can't even remember, but like the whole play,
I got goosebumps.
Oh, it makes me
It
feel
would be
sick.
fun to go see a scary play.
Yeah.
Dude, I will go to London with you guys in a second and go. And that play haunts me to this day. Like,
wow.
I'm sure it's still running. It must be.
Okay, wait. So last thing is you are in a horror movie.
I am, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it actually will already be out when this comes out.
Mhm.
So then I will say, go watch it on Hulu.
Ooh.
It's a Blumhouse Hulu. It's for their Into the Dark anthology series. There's a bunch of amazing features. They make a feature like every month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be in the Valentine's Day episode, which is called My Valentine, and it comes out on
kind of perfect for this.
Yeah, right. It all kind of coincides.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a story about abusive relationships, sort of women in music in particular, and sort of draws on like the Kesha shit and like the Taylor Swift shit and like these women like
Very timely.
getting their power and their literal music taken away from them, and then also just sort of crosses that with abusive relationships, which I think is so interesting for a Valentine's Day themed horror. And I'm really, really proud of it, and I'm really excited to like see it and have the world see it. So please go check that out if you feel so inclined.
And like the movie that we're about to do, Jennifer's Body, I believe it's also written and directed by a woman.
It is. It is
Yeah.
indeed.
Maggie.
Yeah. Maggie Levin,
Yeah.
superstar.
Hell yeah. This feels like a very fitting episode
It
for
does.
us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very cool. I
Happy
will watch it. I'm
Valentine's Day.
excited.
Anna, I bet, is great in it. Just having seen you work, you are very compelling and really fun to watch.
Wow.
So I can't wait to watch
I'm
it.
excited to watch it. I love
Day
scary
made,
stuff.
Avital. Jeez.
Okay, so Jessica chose this movie. Anna and I had not seen it.
I know, and I was so nervous because I wanted you guys to really like it because it got shit on when it came out.
Yeah.
I saw it opening day.
Wow.
Yeah,
What year?
2009. I just moved here.
I felt like it was way earlier than that.
Really?
Exclusively because of that one white and yellow striped cutoff shirt that she wears. I was like, that's 2006, right?
Also, the MySpace reference where she's like, I saw Low Shoulder on MySpace, and the
Oh,
lead singer
yeah,
is
that's
totally
true.
salty.
And she wears that puffy jacket in that scene. Like, this is the fashion. I was like,
Yeah.
bring this back. Just all of this.
Like, I saw it opening day, and I liked it. And then, like, it got terrible reviews, and it was one of those things where I went into it totally blind because the reviews weren't, I hadn't seen them yet. And then I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Did we watch
people
the same movie?
really, and then it got worse. And it was like, no, people didn't just not like it, people hated it.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I've seen this movie, like, over 20 times.
wow.
Interesting
I love
hearing
this movie.
your description, Anna, of your movie, where I'm like, oh, that's timely. And then you watch something like Jennifer's Body, and all of these write-ups about it since more recently are saying it was ahead of its time. And what's so interesting about that is, yeah, sexual assault has been a problem for centuries, since the beginning of time.
Right.
But
Except
it's
for we just
only-
started caring about
Exactly.
it 2 years
Right.
ago.
We just started
Yeah.
believing women.
Right. Yeah.
But
Sometimes.
it's also like, it was so ahead of its time.
It really
It came out
was.
like 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh
In a way-
my god.
Yeah.
In a way,
2009 was 10. It was over 10
Yeah,
years
11.
ago.
Well, it was.
Fuck. Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
We swear
And-
on
But
this.
it was,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like to be like, oh my God, it was so ahead of its time. It wasn't that long ago that they were
Right.
like shitting on women. It's
Right.
so crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And it's exactly like Anna said, it's just like suddenly now people care about it. Kind
Yeah.
of. Or at least people
Well,
feel like they have to pretend to care about it.
I
now.
have a couple of friends that also watched it recently that they were like, Jennifer's Body fucking rules.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree that, like, because I kind of remember when it came out. I never saw it when it first came out. I just remember the one clip they used everywhere of, like, her going, like, and the teeth appearing, you know? But so is it, I didn't look it up, but is it based on, like, an actual demon, like a specific,
Succubus.
a succubus? Okay. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw that in like the,
Yeah, but it's not.
Her
But it's
reading.
not
lore-
based on anything else. I know that Diablo Cody wrote this. She
as soon as I saw that in credits, I was like, of course.
She
Yeah.
got cachet to write this because Juno was so successful that they were like, what do you want to make next? And she kind of could do anything, and she chose this. I just watched an interview with Diablo Cody about it that I did think was interesting going into this, is she was saying that basically, like, her name's not really Diablo Cody, it's Brooke something, I don't remember her real last name, but she got a stage name, and that this movie was kind of like, she in real life, Brooke, is like the needy character, and her Diablo Cody is like the Jennifer.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
and
really
so
cool.
I thought that
It's
was
like
such
a
an
Fight Club.
interesting-
Yeah.
about herself.
I like
so
that.
cool.
I also thought it was so interesting that it seems like they specifically named the Amanda Seyfried character Anita to call her needy.
Yes.
And I'm like, why?
Which
Why?
is weird, right?
Yeah.
Because
I
she
love it.
doesn't,
It's very, that's very Diablo Cody to me.
but she
Yeah.
doesn't seem needy just seems like a weird.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
in some ways, she's sort of thirsty for her best friend's approval. And there's a neediness to that. But she also is. One thing that I love is that they're not just like stereotypical characters. So you have Amanda Seyfried as like the bookish one, but she's still getting laid. She's still like.
I loved that too. She's still like a lesbian, probably.
Yeah.
Having sex with a man. Like that was like a part of it that I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. There was something else that was sort of against type for her, but now I can't remember what.
I agree.
Is she not doing well in school? No, she is, right?
She's good in school. I do love the part when the teacher like gets
Oh, it
mad
was
at
that
Jennifer and then is like, Jennifer, keep it down, and needy.
Yeah.
It's like she wasn't talking.
It's that guy likes her, that emo guy, right?
Yeah.
That weird flirtation that she like has this
Colin
boyfriend,
Gray.
and then and then this
Yeah.
other like emo guy's like also hitting on her, where you're like, wait, what? Like,
Right. What's
she's a
happening
nerd.
there?
She shouldn't. No one should like her, right?
Which, by the way, that's a little hard to get on board with. Like, have you seen Amanda Seyfried? Come on.
Oh my god, totally. And I was like, Amanda Seyfried like is me, like in high school, like that was 100% me, like not necessarily closeted, but like definitely like, you know, like had all these like hot best friends that I was like,
Oh, I had that too.
yeah, where I was just like, and even what she was wearing, I was like, this is like who I like want to be, like these little glasses and like this like the like half up, half down, like very.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what would you even call that? Like, it's very like 90s
Safe.
nerd.
Yeah.
And then these like weird.
The
like,
layered shirts, the long
layers,
sleeve with
all the
like the lace on
layers.
top.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I
With
was
the
loving
super
it.
low rise like Britney Spears
Yes,
pants.
I remember those low-rise
no one can
pants.
wear those.
Yeah.
No one can wear those.
We're not allowed to anymore,
Even
right?
Megan
They're
Fox
banned.
kind of couldn't
I
wear them.
know.
Like,
I am kind of glad this is maybe a little off topic, but I feel like if I saw that 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, she's so hot about Megan Fox. And she is.
Oh,
But
she's
watching
so
it
pretty.
now, I'm like, she's so skinny. And I feel like we've
graduated past needing everyone to be. Although it's funny
and
because I had the
bones.
opposite reaction to Amanda Seyfried, where I was like, "Oh, she's kind of a normal body in this one scene. Like it's
Oh.
kind of like a." I was like, "That's so nice."
Yeah.
I was like, "I love that she like has like a big chest and she doesn't have a super flat stomach and she's like wearing these low rise
Oh,
jeans."
I didn't
and-
notice.
Yeah, when
she's
she's like
she
trying
looks
on the
normal.
outfit. Yeah, I was
She
like, she
looks
just looks
like
like a
girls I
normal
went to high school
person.
with.
And I was like, that's so refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan Fox
Because-
lost weight for this movie.
And she's
that was
so
her choice.
skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like 97 pounds, and she
Oh my God.
it said like she stayed out of the sun because she wanted to be like pale to play the part.
That's funny because I
Interesting.
didn't think she was that pale.
I didn't notice it either.
But
It's some scenes where
Her
she
makeup
looks-
was
I
amazing.
think it's because Transformers she's really tan.
Oh, gotcha.
In
haven't
every
seen that.
scene, I was like, "This is my makeup look." She was like these like so glossy pink lips, and then like this
Yes.
like
So much eye makeup.
charcoal eyeliner,
Oh, she looked so
and
good.
these
Her face
enormous
was
eyelashes.
insane.
Her face,
Oh,
is
yeah.
insane.
It's crazy.
That shot where she comes and she's covered in blood and she does the smile in the kitchen.
Good.
How
Okay, so,
So
let's
she was
try and
acting the shit out of this
she's
movie.
really
she's
good in
really
this
good in this
movie.
movie.
I didn't know she could
I
act.
kind of remember someone saying to me like Megan Fox got a little screwed because she became the hot girl, but she can actually kind of act. And I was
Yeah.
like, I think Transformers maybe.
I had
Well,
never seen her in anything until this.
What happened was just to like do a little tiny summary
Yeah,
is
I know
like
what you're
during
gonna
this
say.
whole thing there was while she was doing press for this movie, she said something about Michael Bay, which was that he was like a Hitler on set. He's a total Napoleon. He has to control everything, but he's really nice off set and she likes him. He's so awkward and nerdy. And socially, it was like all these things where it was like not a great thing to say, but not, I mean, the worst thing in the
Right.
world. And Michael Bay and people went crazy, and they did the crew of Transformers
Three
wrote
unnamed
a letter.
people who were like on the crew.
Wrote a letter where they said she was dumb as rocks. She was hard to work with. I mean, like the list, some of the things like I wouldn't even want to repeat.
Well, and then Michael Bay said that they did that of their own accord and he didn't condone it and she was just being silly and that's part of what he
That's
loves
just
about her
Megan.
is that she's unpredictable and
But he published that letter on his
Whoa.
website.
Wow, I didn't know any of that. So she kind
Yeah.
of got blackballed a little bit.
So that happened during the
and
press
one
of
crew member, I
this.
don't know if you saw this, one crew member spoke out for her and published a letter
PA.
too. Or was it a PA?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, you know, nobody knows who wrote this. You know, they haven't, they printed this anonymously, but just to clear my name, this is not my experience of her at all. She's been wonderful. Sure, she has her moods. Who doesn't?
It's weird to be an actor because, I mean, I don't know anything about the situation, so I'm completely talking out of my ass here, but like sometimes the expectations on you will just suddenly be like a ton of things. And like, I think it's like I understand a little better now, like how you could have a reaction to that. You know, people see your job as really easy and like you just do what we tell you to when we want you to. But like sometimes you just like get something sprung on you that you're not ready to do, or like if you're doing stunts, or I'm just saying that like I think there are things where it's like, wow, she's being really difficult. Where it's actually like, well, no, this is like a concern that no one else is taking seriously.
Yes, 100%.
And or like this is something I wasn't prepared for, and now you're gonna get this shot of me in the scene that I'm not ready for, and that's gonna be in the fucking movie,
right?
And then people are gonna be like, well, she's
and the
not
double standard of like David O. Russell can call Lily Tomlin a cunt, and it can be recorded, and tons of people can watch him doing it, and he still gets to make movies and win Oscars and like
crazy.
Meanwhile, I was going to call her Jennifer. Jennifer's body.
Jennifer's body.
Yeah. Doesn't get to work anymore.
Well, I watched an interview, like one of the ones where she was at Comic-Con for this, and the opening line of the interview was the guy says to Megan Fox, so, you're Jennifer's body. And she was like, yeah, that's right. I'm just the body. Somebody else was the face. And it was like the saddest thing to see, like, that's all people would let her be. Is
right.
Like,
which is
so
so
funny.
funny.
The title is pointing to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is like, it's funny because it's like, yeah, Diablo Cody wrote this movie. Like, this is not like a male gazy movie.
And then they
It's
marketed it just like a male gazy, like a semi-pornographic. Even when I went to watch it, so much of what comes up first, it's like, watch Jennifer's body, uncut, unrated. Like, you're in it
and the
for-
posters have like nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah.
They're
They
all
were really
like her
upset
being a
about the
sexy
marketing.
teacher, like a sexy schoolgirl on a
And the thing is, like, when you
Yes.
watch it, you're like, oh, this is like totally like a slap in the face to the stereotype of this, of like women in horror, of this like mean popular girl character. Like, she has so many sides to her.
She does.
Like,
well, what to your point, also, Jessica, it says that Karen Kusama, the director, and Diablo Cody wanted to make a movie for young women, specifically for teen girls like Needy and Jennifer, but the trailers and posters seemed only motivated to attract a young, straight male audience. And they asked for an explanation behind one of the ads that was fixated on Jennifer's hotness. And the reply said, they said it wasn't even grammatically correct. It said, Jennifer sexy, she steal your boyfriend, as if a caveman had written it.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and so this like kind of goes into this like narrative that I feel like, is the same narrative of girls don't play video games, and it's that women don't watch horror and they don't want to go see horror, and they're not going to, and maybe this was true in 2009, although I don't think it's ever been true.
Or that Megan Fox is for men. Oh, men like Megan Fox, not girls.
Right. Or just the fact, just the idea that like we need to market this to the audience that we know already sees horror and loves horror and has like the corner on what am I trying to say? Like, has cornered the market on horror, where it's like, okay, but did you try marketing it to women?
Right.
Because maybe women would have fucking gone to see this movie.
And this is probably a big part of why Diablo Cody wanted to write this, was because horror is usually kind of made for men, and this was one to make for women. But then they were like, no, we're going to continue to market it to our male audience.
So getting into the movie.
Yes.
Okay, so it's got the opening where you see that comes back at the end, where she's laying on the bed and she's eating her hair and all that.
Yeah,
but
first we're like kind of running towards the house, right? It seems like we're POV
needy.
of an animal. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're needy there?
Yeah, that's Needy going up to the house.
For what?
To look in the window at Megan Fox.
Oh,
because then when
I
Megan
see.
Fox,
I didn't realize.
she's like eating her hair, and then you see Needy at the window.
Okay, got it.
And then she's gone.
And then she's talking about it.
Yes.
Okay.
The first line is, "Hell is a teenage girl."
Yeah, it's a great line.
Being a teenage girl is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. Congratulations to all three of us for
I can't
surviving
believe we made it out.
Yeah.
Whenever I think about it, I'm like, oh my God.
And you're surrounded by other teenage girls.
Yeah.
It's awful.
The thing is, like, I just can't, even though, like, I understand, like, testosterone and, like, sex drive, whatever, for men, like, the shit that I feel like I got hit with as a teenage girl, like, the hormone change and, like...
Those intense friendships that are really, like, romantic relationships.
Yes.
That's, like, my favorite thing. And I have a movie I really want to write about that.
They're your best friend and you're like slightly obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like your lover, but you just don't necessarily
like
chat.
have sex.
All that weird thing of like, you like him, well, I like him now because you like him. There's all that weird, like you can't explain why you feel that way.
Yeah, you're just like in each other's minds and you need each other.
Yeah.
But it's also toxic.
It's obsessive and toxic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're kind of coming at the house. We see Jennifer sucking on her hair, like you said.
Her teeth are like gross.
Yeah,
it's
she
like
looks sick.
Yeah.
And then Needy is narrating, basically explaining that
she narrates
it all
the movie.
went off the rails.
Mm-hmm. I love, she's like, I'm not perfect, but at least I have my fans. Which is like so perfect for today where everyone's on Instagram.
I
True.
did feel like
It's like so validating.
the stuff with like Needy in the
Mental hospital.
yeah, I was like, this is Diablo Cody, like, because she, I want to say, like, overwrites. Like, she writes in a way that it's almost like a novel.
Yeah.
It was weird because Needy is, like, kind of a badass in
Oh,
this,
yeah.
like, mental
yeah.
hospital.
So strong.
Which is,
Oh yeah, she's like, I'm a kicker. She
but
tells
it's like,
us.
it's completely different than the Needy we see for the rest of the
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
Which maybe it was an acting thing. Like, maybe Amanda Seyfried just got swept up and, like,
But
the,
it's also-
the VO
I
is
think
very...
it's a change for her.
Well,
She's
it's 'cause
changed.
it's spoiler to the ending.
Right. Wait, should we say?
There, I mean, there's a reason why she's
Yeah,
like totally
right.
different in the mental hospital.
I guess, but it's like...
yeah,
it
it makes
just-
sense.
I feel like it's a 2009 move. I feel like the horror that's being made now is so character driven that like a leap like that seems a little
well, this is
cheesy
not
to
a
me.
subtle movie in a way that's really fun.
That's true.
Yeah.
Some of those shots, like I couldn't believe it. Like it's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
The
beautiful.
pool.
But I think that's a good point that you raise is like, okay, so we open with a version of Needy, and then we very quickly see, oh, this is a different person than
Yes.
who we're being introduced
Doesn't it
to.
say
Yeah.
like 2 months ago or something? It's
Yeah.
like not that long of a time.
Yeah.
We see where they live. It's called Devil's
Kettle.
Devil's
Because
Kettle.
of
Devil's
the
Kettle.
waterfall.
But what is the one? Was the band guy always call it?
Devil's Lake.
Devil's Lake.
He's like, thank you, Devil's Lake.
I love that detail.
Who's that actor?
Adam Brody.
He's
Ugh.
so hot.
He's so
So
hot.
hot.
He's. I was like, what's the rest of this band doing?
yeah.
Get up to speed.
I know, it's actually really funny. They barely say anything. They're always just there. and
Although I
he's-
did feel like the way he played it was like, you're just like, where's the knife? Fuck, give me
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
You
I
know?
love the way he plays it.
It was
Yeah,
like so
we played it
cavalier
like
that I was like,
every
whoa.
asshole, like rapist frat guy you think of, kind of
Yes.
like where he's
Dude,
so
that
cavalier
scene-
about
Yeah.
people's feelings,
He doesn't care.
or
He's
like
just getting what he wants.
but also like jumping ahead a little bit. Then when there's a fire and he's just outside drinking, and it's like, oh no, you guys are okay. I'm so
I
glad.
have
Yeah.
questions about that. I was trying to figure out if they set the fire because they do seem really unfazed by it.
I think so because it starts from their equipment.
Okay, wait. Yeah, let's get there.
Okay, so I first of all, song wise, I love when we go to them, Needy and Jennifer at opening, and it like starts on the yearbook pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and then it cuts to Jennifer like being cheerleader, flag girl, one of those things.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
It's that song by Black Kids. I don't want to teach your boyfriend how to dance with you.
It's a great title.
I love that song, and I just love the whole opening of like, here's Jennifer the cheerleader, and here's Needy who's Jennifer's cheerleader.
Right.
Mhm.
And then
And,
that
like-
one character that's like, you're total, what did she say?
You're
Lesbo
lesbi-
gay.
You're lesbi gay. for
Lesbi
her.
gay for her. So fucking stupid.
And the way they talk to each other, it's like, what's up, Monostat?
Yeah.
And
It's
then
a bad to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salty, extra salty.
Yeah.
That's
I
what I'm
love all
saying
the
is, like,
dialogue.
The dialogue is so good. And I wish I had known who wrote it before I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't look anything. I was just like, let's watch the movie now. And then I
you're
saw
like, "That makes
Diablo
perfect
Cody at the
sense."
end, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
Because
there's so
when
much,
I know
of
we're gonna get
course.
to it, but the scene where they're sacrificing her, that scene where he's like, "Do you even know what it's like to be an indie band these days?" I was like, "Who wrote this? Who wrote this? It's so good."
It's so good.
Yeah, so Jennifer comes and she says, we're going to Melody Lane tonight to see this band play. I saw them on MySpace.
I relate to this. Like, there's a hot guy in a band. He's gonna be near us, so let's go be around him.
Yeah, and I'm from Iowa, so like I'm very familiar. Like my best friend and I in high school used to do. Like we were like, we're driving to Madison, Wisconsin to see this band play.
Right.
Jennifer is like, you're coming with me. There'll be lots of salty morsels for you too.
Even though she has a boyfriend.
But she has a boyfriend. Yeah, there's so many times where you're like, Jennifer and her aren't friends anymore.
Right.
It's like Needy is trying so hard to like make the friendship still
I
exist.
also like I love who they chose to play her boyfriend
Oh, I love him.
because
that emo hair. The most
well,
emo
but, like,
hair.
Johnny
because he's-
Simmons.
Yeah.
he plays it so
Oh my god, when he's like,
you
am I too
love
big?
him, like you
He's so
that part.
sweet.
But then even after that, he's like, you know, like, are you okay? Like the way he played it was perfect. But also, if you're Jennifer, you're like, that's not a boyfriend.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're like,
right.
that's like, who is this little boy? You know what I mean?
Right,
So I get why
yeah.
she's always just kind of like
dismisses him.
Yeah, like
Also, I think it's that thing of, I totally get this in high school, like what you want to do with your life, you assume that's what everyone should do.
That's
And
so true.
I did this to friends. I was Jennifer to other people where I was like, what are you doing tonight? It doesn't matter. I'm coming to get you at 6 and we're going to go do whatever. And I had friends that did that to me, right? Like my friend Olivia was always like, there's a party tonight. We're going to go here. And like, you're coming. And like, and then,
you're coming, bitch.
yeah.
It's
And
like
I'm
that
like,
kind
I
of
had
thing.
like braces and I'm homeschooled. And like, she went to this like amazing Catholic school. Olivia's great.
Like I said, she's so hot that you're like, come on, you're the nerd. Look at your like giant lips and your perfect face. But I love that when she's getting ready to go out with Jennifer, she's specifically like, she wants me
you
to
have to
look
wear
cute,
something
but
cute.
not
Yep.
too cute. I
Yep.
can't have cleavage because that's her
thing.
thing.
Yep.
It's so funny. To me, it's like so relatable, this idea of her, to an extent, making herself small and being fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't need to be noticed.
That's her
Well,
thing.
but did you
Yeah.
ever,
I
didn't
also
you have,
love boo. Cross out needy.
Oh, wait, where?
That's what she says when she's like, I can't go tonight. I'm with Chip.
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like, boo. Because that comes back. Cross out needy.
I didn't
Yeah.
catch that came back.
Because then she cuts out Jennifer.
Didn't you have
Yeah.
friends though in high school that like you would put on something and then they would be like, well, now I'm not cute enough.
Yeah.
And like they would have to go fight, and then
Right.
you have to like keep switching outfits until
Yeah.
you're equal level of cute.
Yes. Yes.
Like that's so relatable to me.
I don't think it even ended in high school. I feel like I still
Well,
have
you still
friends
were like,
that.
oh, well
I
wait,
got
you're wearing
boobs
that, then I have to
first.
wear
Like,
this.
my boobs came in.
Yeah,
I
mine
was
too.
like, I went from nothing to a full B, like within months.
Yeah,
And I had friends that were like
fast.
so jealous of that because they stuffed their bra that they were like, you have to show off your boobs. Like you have to. And they like, I had a friend, Mary, she would like give me really tight tops that I didn't feel comfortable in because she was like, you have these, they're for you to show off. And I was always like,
You have an obligation.
yeah, there was like it's like a weird sexualizing of each other
Right.
that's like not comfortable. At the same
Every
Yeah.
single
time.
female relationship I've ever had has been like either vaguely or overtly sexual. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's like a
same.
symptom of being bisexual, right? Where you're just like, where on the scale of friends to dating are we? Like,
Right.
but it's always somewhere on that
I
scale.
mean, my best friend growing up she eventually, like, she was always the bad influence. She was like doing drugs first. She was having sex. I was not. But it was that thing like in class where it's like, Jennifer, needy. Like, I just was roped in. And so I was like a bad, even though I wasn't. And so she convinced her parents when she would get in trouble that I was the bad influence. And her boyfriend across the street, even though we were like 14 and he was 30, convinced him that I was a bad influence.
I
And
am
so she
horrified by
stopped
this.
talking to me. And I was devastated. And P.S., before that, we like started by, she would do this thing if there was like a cute boy where she would be like, let's make out. And it was like clearly like for the guy.
Oh,
Until
yeah.
one time she kissed me in the bathroom and it was just the two of us.
And you're like, then what is this?
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like really confusing. And then it was devastating that she like chose her boyfriend over me.
Oh my
Her
god.
pedophile
It's so
boyfriend.
confusing because you're like, I have all of these feelings and like these
Yeah.
hormones are crazy and like,
Yeah.
ugh, what a magical time.
Yes. But that's where I relate to, like, I'll be small. I won't show my boobs and you can be the girl with the boobs.
Yeah.
And I'll look cute so that I don't embarrass you, but
Yeah.
not so cute that I upstage you.
Yes.
I
yeah.
love the boyfriends like you always do what Jennifer tells you. And she's like, no, it's just that I like what Jennifer likes.
Yeah.
And we have so much in common. And he's like, no, you don't. It's like that sad thing of her being like, we've been best friends since we were in the sandbox.
Best
And-
friends for life.
Yeah, that has to be for life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be.
Right.
And
you
she's
can
trying
outgrow
so
people.
hard to be her best friend still that
Mm-hmm.
she's not being herself.
So she does come with her to this band show. We get a
We do get the line before that where she's like, it smells like Thai food. Have you guys been fucking?
Oh yeah.
I love Jennifer.
Also, she shows up and is like, "Quit tampooning yourself and get down here."
Also, Chris Pratt is in this movie.
yes, we're about to get there.
Yes.
Chris Pratt is a co-star in this
Yeah,
movie.
he has like a
Also,
line.
there's the weird thing right before Jennifer gets there where she's like, Jennifer's here. And he's like, that's so weird that you
Yeah,
have like a
but
sixth sense about your
Yeah.
best
it's
friend.
explained through
Yes.
the blood touch, right?
Mhm, from earlier.
They have a blood touch.
she
Oh,
like
I didn't
sucks,
connect
well, she
that.
like
Yeah.
sucks the blood.
Yeah.
I
Like, has
didn't
Jennifer's
connect that
blood
was
in her
why.
body.
Yeah, Jennifer
A
cuts her
flashback to
hand
when
and
they're
she like puts her
kids.
hand down.
And
her
I
head down to
love
her
this
hand.
kind of thing in horror. Like the game for me in horror is like how much do you have to explain?
Right.
Like what do you show and what do you tell, right? Like I
Mhm.
love under explained.
yeah.
Like even if they didn't have that sequence about like she's in the library and like the texts are cross fading and the succubus demon ritual. Like even if they didn't have that, I would be satisfied because I like less is more.
Right. There were some parts where they were like intercutting a little too much for my liking, but it still was a really fun
Well,
movie.
but that was I think that's a symptom of the time.
Right.
Like I think that is like a very like 2009 thing to do where it's like a flashback. Is that what you mean by intercut or?
There's intercutting between Needy having sex with someone and Jennifer.
And Colin.
Yes.
It's because they're connected.
Right. It's trying to show that they're connected, but they just did it a little too much where I was like, I got it after the first and
We're
second
cool
and
here.
third.
Yeah.
Like, how much intercutting do we need?
So they go to Melody Lane, which she says is a club. And Chip's like, it's not a club.
And then when they get there, it's just like, yeah, this is
not a club.
And
it's like
indeed
a
it is not a
redneck
club.
bar.
And they
I'm
come
from
in.
Iowa. That's a club.
We get a Diablo Cody cameo
Yes.
as a bartender. I was like, that chick is cool looking. And
But
then
it's
I
also
saw-
like Jennifer is, how old is she, 17?
probably.
Walks into this bar and is immediately hit on by Craig, who's a football player.
She says he thinks he's cute enough for me, and that's why he's in retard math. I was like, oh,
Whoa!
They do say retard a lot in this
They do
movie.
say that a lot.
But like she walks by and he goes, swing and a miss. But it's like as soon as she walks into anywhere, men are asking her out.
Right.
You get the idea that like she's a little bit of a monster because that's all anybody will let her be.
Right.
It's like everyone's obsessed with wanting to date me. I get it. That's my role.
Right.
Because then immediately she finds Chris Pratt.
And she's ogling the band. And Chris Pratt says they look like a bunch of Fagos, which is another time that we get a
Great.
Yep.
Love a slur.
And he's a cadet in the police academy.
I don't
He's
know.
almost done. That comes back later where she's like, I'm fucking a cadet.
Oh, I didn't connect that. That makes sense.
Where were those scenes? I want those scenes.
Yeah, I heard Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Well, and he's Roman, who she says like in a minute is like, I'm not even a backdoor virgin. Thanks, Roman.
Wait, which one's Roman?
That's Chris Pratt.
I see.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't connect that either. I gotta watch
We
it
haven't
again.
seen it 20 times,
Where
Jessica.
she also like grabs his balls in that scene.
Great.
You don't see it, but you see his reaction.
I like, don't do that.
yeah.
I'm gonna say something like, no, just not here.
Yeah, not in public.
Yeah.
And Adam Brody is too
Ugh.
cute.
Swoon.
Yes, even
Oh my
knowing what
God.
he is. But you get that something is off pretty quickly.
Guyliner gets me. Man, I don't know. Again, like symptom of the times. I mean, with the guyliner, like is still a thing every now and then.
Right.
You know what I love now? I love like a Harry Styles, like nails painted,
Mhm.
little bit of eye makeup. I mean, it's less the black liner now. It's like a little sparkle or something.
Oh.
Love it.
Is Adam Brody's nails painted in this?
I don't
It
know.
seems like
they
it
seem
would
like
fit,
they would be. Yeah,
right?
but
I
I didn't
love
notice that
like
they were.
men with nail polish or.
Well, and
or,
Jennifer's
so
nails
funny.
are alternating colors, which I love.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Super cute.
And she offers to go get them drinks, which are these like 9/11
A
tribute
9/11
shots.
shooter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and then she goes, Tower 2's a little low. Like
Yes.
one of them's like a little.
They're each like red, white, and blue, and
Well,
yeah, one's a
Yeah,
little
you have to
low.
drink it really fast
or it turns brown. But then she doesn't. She just like puts it down on the counter, and I'm like, "What about your whole speech? You
I
gotta
know.
go give it to him."
As
back."
she's holding them, I
You're so
remember being
stressed
like,
for the drink.
Yeah.
I was too. As she's holding them, I'm like, go take them.
Hurry.
They're gonna turn brown.
Yeah.
But
Same.
she's so confident around men, or boys, I guess. And then as soon as she gets up to Adam Brody, I love the switch where she becomes like a giggling
little
idiot.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did
Your
become
songs
suddenly.
are really super good.
And similar to when she gets put in the van and they use that
She
shot
looks
of her
so
a couple
small in the
times,
van.
Yeah.
which I thought was so great that you're like. You see her as this woman essentially the whole time,
Yeah,
but that
like
they
running into
allow
these
this moment to be
moments.
like, she's 17.
As she's getting these shots, we hear Adam Brody's conversation. He refers to her as the State Fair butter princess, which I actually had to like look up. And a lot of small towns do these like butter carvings.
Which we find out
of
later
people's
she was the
faces.
snowflake princess.
Big difference.
2 years ago.
And he thinks she's a virgin because it's like a stereotypical thing that the woman or girl who comes up and is like all confidence is compensating for never having
Right.
had sex, which I kind of like that logic. I think it's fun. That
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
too. It's like a play against the stereotype.
Yeah.
It was
exactly.
a little confusing, I thought.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I thought that, like, to use, it's such an important thing, her being a virgin or not, like, to use, like, this sort of obscure justification for why this guy thinks she's a virgin and is like, trust me, dude. Like, I feel like it was just confusing.
right. Well, So
But then it's confirmed because then Needy's like, she is a virgin. She's my best friend.
Well,
Right.
she's not.
She's
Right.
not.
Needy's lying because she's saying, like, leave her alone. She's a virgin. You don't want to be her the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
And we find out, okay, so context, as you're first watching it, you might think, like, oh, he's saying she's a tease. She's a waste of time. I'm not
Right.
going to put time into her. But then you're like, he does seem overly concerned about if she's a virgin. And my mind did go to, oh, they're looking for some sort of virgin sacrifice. And then,
Instantly.
yeah,
yeah,
yours
yeah,
too.
yeah, instantly. It was
So then when Needy's like, yeah, she is a virgin.
you're
I
like,
was
no!
yeah, bad move.
I know, and she's just trying to protect her friend.
I know, it's so sweet. And then there's that moment where they're sort of like holding hands, watching the band play.
Yes, Jennifer grabs her hand and then lets it go.
Needy's
Needy
like
looks as
watching her.
excited to have her hand
Yes.
being held, and then she sees how
into Adam
into
Brody.
the band she is,
Mhm.
and she gets sad. That moment is like,
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's so
That feels
sad.
like being a
So-
teenager.
Mhm.
Also, she's like for so long before it's like you said, she's registering that she's just into the band. There's so many moments of her just watching Jennifer's face, watching the
Mhm.
band, like getting lost in her joy
Mhm.
before she, I think, starts to go, oh,
Mhm.
it's about
Oh,
the
shit.
boys.
Yeah.
Fuck this. And then, yes, there's a fire that starts behind the band. The place starts to just burn down.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
And Adam Brody like smiles during it. He's very
Yeah.
casual. That's why I think it was from them.
I think so too. Plus,
And
they
then he finds
get
his way out
easily.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it's like drinking in
What
the parking
something?
lot.
Why
but
would
the
they
thing is
set the
that
fire?
something sparks.
Yes, from their amp.
Yeah, but so I'm like, do
It
they?
sparks onto the curtain that the amp is leaning up against. And then the whole thing goes up in flames super fast. Everyone panics in a way that almost like, are the doors blocked or something?
Right. This
Right.
is my problem with it. Right, is that the place goes up in flames slowly but quickly.
Right.
Where like the quickness of the place going up in flames and like the
And the stampede.
is like everyone should have gotten out of there completely fine. Like it was not
Well,
a problem. Like
Maybe this is just trying to defend the movie because I enjoyed it, but it is a bar, so there's alcohol everywhere. People have probably spilled
it's
drinks.
wood.
Yeah.
Everything's wood.
Flammable.
Yeah. But you're right. It's like, are the doors like there is like a big that whole
Yeah.
scene felt a little weird to me because then like suddenly that guy's outside. and
Right,
he's
how did
holding
they
that
get out
drink and
so
it's
quickly?
yeah, and they also, this is just my opinion about this shot. They just have this shot of the three of them that they use for that whole scene. Basically, they don't do a lot of singles, and so it makes this whole scene like the pace of it so weird. After they get out, after they climb out through the bathroom.
Because
The
Jennifer
two
goes
girls
into
are-
shock really quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The two girls are squatting in the parking lot, and he's standing behind them, and it's like this trio.
Oh,
and they use this shot for that whole scene that I'm like, she's in shock for so long. And then, like, that whole part, I was just, this is the only scene that I, like, didn't buy in the movie. I was like,
She's in
what's-
shock. Adam Brody is casually drinking, and he's like, oh, good. I was looking everywhere for you.
Right.
Yeah,
Clearly
I just
has
feel
not
like it
been
should have, I
searching.
wish he had, like, gotten her out of there faster.
Right.
Because
kind of
there's
don't
so
buy
much
too.
talking
She's
here,
so
and
in
like
shock.
they could
Why
have
does
just
she
left,
get
and
into
like
the
why
van?
is she? But
Well, so he gives her the some of his drink. He like shoves it in her mouth.
Yeah, that part's so creepy.
But
And
then
So
they
creepy,
keep it in
and
that
then
shot
he like
for
grabs
that
her hand too, where he's like, I think we should go to the safest place I can think of, like my van.
right, and then she just leaves her friend, which also feels a bit like fear. Our complaint about
but then
fear.
the other thing is like Needy doesn't like grab her.
right.
She's like maybe that's like me thinking
Well,
like 2020 brain though, where I'm
right.
like you don't get
And
your friend go
also-
in a van.
Yeah.
You're like,
And also,
yeah.
we're adults. It's so hard when
True.
you're that young to
True.
know like how to.
and you're like, is Jennifer gonna freak out on me
Right.
because she
Because
wants
she
to make
does.
out with this
Scared of
guy?
But that's the
Jennifer,
thing.
yeah,
She's
it's true,
trying
it's
to.
true.
She's like, no, Jennifer, let's
She
go.
is
Let's get in the
trying really
Sebring.
hard.
And Jennifer says, just stop it. Shut up, Needy.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
like let me
that's-
have this.
Yeah.
She shuts Needy down, and you see that's when Needy stops moving.
Yeah.
And
Wait, so what do you
she
think?
freezes.
I could see on the one hand just general devil worship, which it turns out is what they're doing, right? They're taking somebody as an offering to Satan. So I could see
So they can
fire,
get a record
yeah. So I can see fire like sort of being a part of that. But then also this is the one area where I have questions like why do they need to kill a bunch of other people in there? How do they know that Jennifer's going to make it out alive if that's their virgin
That's why
sacrifice?
it's like the fire, and also it starts from just that spark.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, the fire is kind of a coincidence, but the way the fire plays into the greater plot is the fire is the real world spur for their fame.
Right.
We know their fame was because of this devil sacrifice that happened on the same night. But if you hear the radio, in the real world, they became famous because they saved all these people from this
Right.
bar. Remember?
Even though like no one survived except for
I know, I
two
love that.
people.
Right. Yeah, I
that
guess.
did
But
not
it's-
credit them with
Yeah,
their
it's like,
survival.
who-
there is
Who
something about how
did
they
they
were like
say?
local heroes, and then they got put on this thing, and then that's
Because
how
then
their
they
fame
even
started.
say
Yeah.
later, local band Low Shoulder, and it's like they're not local; they're from
Right,
the city.
right. Also, Low Shoulder. I mean, we do get like a nice callback later for why the name, but I was like, this
Yeah.
is a dumb band
It
name.
was a dumb band. name.
And you know what? Fair. I think Adam Brody and them would have a dumb band name.
Yeah, I think so too. I like that. I also really did relate. You know, I ended up in the hospital because I went to see Dashboard Confessional play,
Wow.
and because I'm from Miami and he's like nearby. He's a
You're from
Floridian.
Miami?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Really? And one of the opening bands. Whole long story, but I guess this is where I sort of relate to Jennifer. Like my friends, the same friend Amy, who she'd be like, let's make out for the boys / alone too. Amy and I ended up on this like band's tour bus, and one of them was
Jeez.
urging me to
How
drink.
old were you?
I would have been. It was the summer between freshman and sophomore year of high school,
Ugh, I don't like this at all.
and somebody in this band put something in my drink, and I ended up in the hospital. So this feels like, you know, obviously that they were not trying to sacrifice me to the devil, but it does feel like this is clearly analogous to date rape and
Yeah.
Oh, especially her whole sacrifice scene is very like.
yes, it's
Assault,
brutal. That's the
rape.
scariest part of the movie, I think.
Yeah, I
Oh,
completely
it's so hard to
agree.
watch, and it doesn't come until an hour into the movie. It comes.
It's
back.
also another place
Right.
where you're like, oh, this is a little girl.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like felt for me like
American
it's
Beauty.
so
No,
kind of, yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
always say.
But like
Yeah.
kind of it's just like ultra cringy, right? Because like again, you see her as like this powerful person owning her sexuality all the time,
Right.
and then you're like, look at these people using her sexuality against her, and like, you know, she's all dressed
just
up.
a little girl.
Yeah, and it's like, oh wow, I know that feeling of like you're all dressed up for something fun.
Yeah.
And then like here you are like in your outfit like completely like, I mean, not that feeling of like being
Right.
sacrificed in your outfit,
Thank
but just
God.
the idea of like, you know, your sexuality being used against you like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
Right.
like if you're cute and then someone catcalls you and you're like, this isn't for you.
Right.
I got dressed up for something else. Like
Right.
It's for me.
not to be sacrificed. Like
Right. That's not when she got hotted up. It wasn't.
it wasn't for this.
It wasn't for Satan.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
and when
like-
Nita gets home, she calls her boyfriend, and I love the first thing she says is, Jennifer's gone, she went with the band. Also, Melody Lane burned down.
Right.
Because
Yes.
she's like, Jennifer's my friend, that's who I care about.
yeah.
I love that too. Somehow she gets home. At home, like you said, she calls her boyfriend.
So I had one thought about this scene. You remember when she opens the cupboard under the stairs or whatever? She opens it and the door is blocking the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then she closes it, right? And you're like, okay, there's an opportunity for a jump scare here.
They don't do it.
And they don't do it, which I thought was actually very ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like movies around this time period were like, oh, the jump scare's not when you open it, it's when you close it.
yeah.
But they didn't do
They were like,
either
"Nope."
of them.
Yeah.
Which is like, I feel like a thing that came after that fake out. Like the fake out of it's not the open, it's the close. Then the
Yes.
double fake out is it's neither. It's
Yeah.
around the corner. Like
it's
whatever.
all messing with your expectations. in
Yeah,
a
I
way
was
that
like,
think is
wow,
great.
okay.
And then the sink drip. I just like the sound of that, the sink dripping.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
so
so
she
crazy.
goes
So
in to
many
turn off
weird,
the
cool
sink.
shots in this thing.
Also, I have to say, because it's so bizarre, when the doorbell rings, she goes, "Oh, cheese and fries" instead of Jesus Christ. And
Yeah.
I have to say, we listened to a lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber growing up, but we were very Jewish. We didn't know about Jesus. And because of Jesus Christ Superstar, my brother was going, "Cheese and fries, Superstar,"
my
because that's what he
God.
actually thought it was. So I love when she
That's
says
so
it in
funny.
this movie. Moment,
But I
and
do love,
liked
she
it.
hears a noise, so she opens the door, and then she's like, oh, no one's there. Probably nothing, which is such a stereotypical horror film to say.
Right.
I
Like,
know.
aren't you more scared that you heard a
So
sound
wait,
and
when
no
does
one's
Jennifer
there?
appear? I can't even
She
remember.
goes to turn off the sink because it's dripping, and when she turns around, Jennifer is right
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
so
Jennifer's right
scary.
there.
Covered
She's
in
covered
blood.
in
Oh my
Her
god!
makeup, but I mean, like it's on her legs.
It's on her teeth.
everywhere.
on her tights.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And she's like, her makeup's a mess. It looks like she's been beaten, but I don't think she has. I think it's just dirt
Yeah, I think just
blood.
dirt stuck to the
and
blood.
like her makeup.
Yeah.
In that moment too, I'm like, did somebody almost kill her, or is she covered in someone else's blood? And you don't really know. yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
just
now. I mean, after watching it, it was her blood.
Well, it's both.
What do you mean?
because remember she goes to get Anwar. Or
That's after.
Yeah.
What's his name?
That's after.
It's
Oh, you're
after she
right,
gets
you're
stabbed.
right.
Oh, it's after she leaves Needy's
because
house?
she tries to bite Needy, and then she leaves.
Right. She's like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and then later when she's explaining it, she was like, I'm such a good friend, but I was so hungry. And then she tells that part.
So while she's with Needy,
I thought for sure it had something to do with the fact that her blood was in Needy too, but I guess it's just the.
Because
I
she's
see.
such a good friend.
So she instead like spews this like hard, sticky, tar-looking vomit.
Well,
Yeah,
my
that
take
looks
on that
like
was that she
roadkill.
tried to eat actual food, and
Oh.
she can't eat actual food anymore.
Yeah,
Remember, she
the-
tries to eat that
Oh,
chicken.
right.
She takes out the
Yeah.
rotisserie chicken, throws it on the ground, and starts ravenously.
Right, and I think
And
the
she
thi-
looks
I-
like an animal.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the point there is like she's so hungry, but she can't eat human food anymore,
That makes sense.
That makes
and
perfect
so that's
sense.
why she vomits.
I
And
didn't
she does
register
that. I love Needy. It's like, my mom got that from Boston Market, and we're not supposed to eat that.
Right, like this should be the least of your concerns right now, but I love
And
it too.
then Jennifer like does this crazy scream at her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I
that
love
sound
it.
was great. It was so good. And then we end up meeting Needy's mom, which is
Amy Sedaris.
Yes.
Amy Sedaris, I couldn't believe it.
I loved it.
I was like, I love that we wanted her to maybe be a serious actress for a moment. I was like, how naive.
Well, that was the other thing when I was saying that she's like does well in school, the stereotypical like goody two shoes, but normally they're not having premarital sex, and normally they don't come from a broken home.
Yeah.
that was the other thing
That
that they
was
gave
the
her.
And
It
the
was
mom's
like
very
single
Christian.
mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see like crucifixes around the house.
Oh, I missed that.
And what does she say? She says something about church or praying or.
Yeah, I don't.
And she makes
remember.
her wear that insane outfit. She can't wear a sexy thing to the dance. Remember, she has to wear the
Yes,
80s.
later at the
like,
dance,
That
she's
80s
curling
her
prom
hair.
dress.
That dress
is
is terrible.
Oh my God.
It's so bad. It happened already, but we only get the full story later of that when the guys take Jennifer to sacrifice her.
Mhm.
It kind of cuts away. We don't see what happens, but later she recounts the story and tells Needy what happened. And we flash back and we see them tying her down, and it's terrifying and brutal, and it feels a lot
It's-
like someone being about to be raped.
It's definitely a gang rape or a rape allegory. Yeah,
and
for
and they
sure.
say like, "Are you sure she's a virgin?" And she's like, or they say something like, I can't remember
in the van
line,
on the way
but-
there. Well, in the van on the way there, she says, "Are you guys rapists?"
Yeah.
So they also nod
And
to it.
he
then.
says, "God, I hate women." Or I hate
yes,
girls.
yes. Oh,
God, I hate girls.
You know, even when she first shows up covered in blood and like traumatized, right away I was like, rape
Yes.
allegory.
It totally
like,
feels that
totally,
way.
totally.
especially too if you think about the fact, I think there was, I don't know if I read this in an article or something where it was like, people didn't understand why she doesn't attack the van. Like that's like her revenge as a demon is to go after the band.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like, if you're going on like it's a rape allegory, you don't go and attack your rapist. You
Right.
just
You
attack
take it out on the
everybody
people
else.
closest to you.
Which I
I
think
know. I love that.
you really
I
see
agree.
later when they're talking about Low Shoulder in the classroom, and Needy's so upset about it. And Jennifer's like, "Yeah, I get it. They're a bad band. Like their
They're
songs
bad
are
people."
overproduced,
Yeah.
and there's not enough bass or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the bass is too
The
low.
way that you like distance yourself from what
Yes.
happened by
Yeah.
just kind of pretending it didn't.
It didn't happen. Well,
Yeah.
because if it was consensual, right? If you were into it, then you're not a victim.
Right.
It's magic, right?
Right. Exactly. So I'll
If you
pretend
just-
I wanted
yeah,
to be
You just
stabbed
pretend
and
that like you're
sacrificed
cool
to Satan.
and yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love to your point, Anna, of like he does seem pretty cavalier about just deciding she's a virgin.
Oh my God.
Like I guess she's a virgin. It's going to be her. But I think there's a really great answer to that, which is he gets what's the word that I want? The ritual or whatever. There he's like looking at the printout of the ritual.
that he like printed off the internet.
Yeah, that he's just like I found it online.
Yeah.
I love that it is this like they're not like expert Satanists.
No, they're
they've
just
taken out
like-
some books from the library.
No, and then
Yeah.
she claims to be a virgin too, because she's like, "Yeah, I'm a virgin. Just let me go."
Right, exactly.
She says something like, "I'm totally bad at sex" or something.
Yeah,
something,
right.
doesn't she? Can't
yes,
remember.
she does.
I love
think
the
so.
idea though that everyone's like, as long as you're a virgin, they're not gonna want you.
Right. Like, haven't they seen a movie?
Oh my God.
That's usually not how it works. But I found it online, made me really happy. I would think it would bother me because I'm like, it works though, and then I'm like, that's kind of great.
He's
It is
such a
fine.
No,
Fag.
it's so great. It's great. It's great, and
Do you
it's like
want to work at the Moose Hoof, or do you want to be Maroon 5?
I love like simple logic like that.
Yeah, me
especially in a
too.
horror film. Yeah.
Anna left, but she comes back. She's in and out. So
And
just
we have a lot more to say about this.
we have
movie.
so much to say. So don't think that we're just stopping her from talking. She's not here for some of it, and we're excited.
The next day, Needy goes to school. They're like, she has PTSD because she was at the
Which fair, she probably does.
yes.
Yeah.
And then what's up, Monostat? it's Jennifer. And
she shows up.
Is unaffected.
Acting like she didn't just spit up tar all over the floor the night before.
Looking
and
hot.
push her against a wall. Oh my gosh. One thing that I want to talk about that we forgot to mention earlier is when Jennifer picks up Needy to take her to the show. At one point, she pushes her against the wall.
Yeah, they're kind of laughing and they're shoving each other playfully. And then Jennifer, like, shoves her too hard.
Yeah, she takes it a little too far. So I love that we get this moment when Jennifer's now sort of this demon. She pushes her against the wall. But there's a part of you that goes, well, this isn't that out of character. And Jennifer was already a little bit of a demon.
And she says, are you scared?
Yeah.
And
which is also kind of hot.
She goes to, like, you kind of get it later that she was going to bite her, but she doesn't. But it looks like she kisses her on the neck. Yeah. Like sensually.
Well, it's weird because I think there is, even if it is a bite, there's something sensual about it. Especially because she doesn't,
but
break
it's not a
skin
bite
or
yet because
anything.
that comes later.
Yeah. It is
and we find out later she was
sexy.
going to attack Needy because she's so hungry, but she left.
She can't satisfy that hunger with anything but human flesh and blood.
She's at school the next day. I love she's so cavalier. And Needy's like, people died, Jennifer. And Jennifer goes, anyone we know? And she's like, yes, we know everyone.
It's so good.
But then there's this horrible line, which just makes me hate teenage girls, where she's like, what's wrong with you besides the obvious surface flaws?
Yes.
That's what Jennifer says to her best friend.
I know. It's so mean. Then we also have, I wanted to look up theories about this and I didn't. Their teacher, J.K. Simmons, no relation to Johnny Simmons. I looked it up. I was like,
from
that's
Juno.
crazy. He has a hook for a hand, and we never talk about it.
Nope.
I kind of was like, is it supposed to be that there was some demon years and years ago and he survived? But that's...
I don't think so. It's because he was in the war.
Oh, does he say that ever?
I feel like they said something about he was in the war.
Interesting. I missed it if they did. It's such a bold decision to not have it go anywhere.
Yes. It's a very Diablo Cody detail.
Yeah, it's really fun.
He says 8 students died in the fire, including Ahmed from India, several parents, and our beloved Spanish teacher.
Oh, yeah. Earlier we meet Ahmed at Melody Lane, and Needy seems to be interested in him, like, not romantically, but, like, likes him or makes a comment. She's just
friends with everybody.
Yeah.
He's friends with every
She's
guy.
so likable. And then Jennifer makes a comment about wanting to see his dick because it's probably uncircumcised. Do you remember how she says it? It's like water snake or something like that.
Oh, sea cucumber.
Yeah.
But then when the fire breaks out, we see, like, a beam falls, and it looks like it falls on him, and he goes out of frame.
Yeah, so we initially
Assume
think
he's
he
dead
might...
in the fire.
Yes, exactly.
And then J.K. Simmons says he was dead in the fire.
Confirmed our suspicions.
So then Needy tells Chip all about the black vomit and everything, since Jennifer is pretending like it didn't happen.
And this is the thing that's, like, inevitable in horror movies.
He doesn't believe her.
Yeah.
And, like, later when she comes to him with the succubus theory, she's like, you don't believe me. And he's like, no, it's not that I don't believe you. It's that I don't believe that.
Right, which is the same thing.
But I like that there's a distinction.
It feels so arbitrary to me.
To me, it feels like he's such a good boyfriend, but he is only a fucking high schooler.
Right.
You know, so I like that he makes that distinction of not just dismissing her, but being like, it's not that I don't believe you. It's that that's a crazy theory. Why would I believe that?
But at the same time, if you believe me, you'll listen to my crazy theory.
I don't know. I do like him. He's just so sensitive. It's like such an interesting character for the high school boyfriend.
Because he's sweet and present
he's
and
so
kind.
Brad.
Yeah.
He's such a Brad character.
His, like, forehead and his hair bothered me so
much.
much.
I'm so attracted to him.
Really?
Yes. I'm
like,
super attracted to him. I have such a crush on that actor.
That's so funny. He has, and I never noticed this in people. He has, like, a giant forehead, and then he has this crazy emo hair.
I'm super into it. I have a big forehead, so I'm super
You
into
do
foreheads.
not have a big forehead.
I do. I have a five.
No.
I have a 5-hander.
You
as
don't.
Tyra Banks would say.
I would never, ever describe you that way, and I fully would describe him
can
that
you imagine? Yeah, you know her. She's a comic.
She's got a 5 head. I also love that when she says Jennifer's evil, he's like, yeah, I know.
She's like, no, not high school evil, real evil.
Yeah, I love that.
Actually evil.
Because normally, again, sort of inverting expectations, you have somebody who's like sweet and innocent and becomes evil. But instead, it's like someone who's kind of a piece of shit anyway, in a lot of ways. Now she's just demonic. She went from high school evil to evil, period.
What I like about, maybe this is because it's written and directed by women, is it could have been done in such a way where Jennifer is a one-note bitch.
Right.
But you really do see that she the way that Needy feels about her, she feels the same way about Needy.
Yeah.
Because she's like going after the guys Needy likes. She's
Right, she's
trying to do all
insecure.
the, yes,
Mhm.
that's it.
I love that. Again, if it was a guy making this movie, it would just be like, no, she's hot and everyone loves her. Obviously, she's got confidence up the wazoo. But it's like, no, the hot girls are always insecure.
Yeah, because they've also been told that their only asset is their beauty.
Yes.
They're not valuable.
And she loves Needy, so she sees what's lovable about her and then wants to be more lovable than she is. She wants to win. Which I think is also just like the complexities of female friendships.
Yeah, and trying to navigate that when you're in high school is unbearable.
So glad we're not in high school.
I have so many horrible high school stories.
Me
from
too.
Just mean girls. And
You know, my meanest, we've talked a little bit about it, but like the mean girl shit for me got worse out of high school. So
mine didn't, but I stopped having female friends for a long time because of that. When I went to college, I really was like, I'm just gonna be friends with guys, and I did that for like 4 years. I really didn't have like, I even joined a sorority and I didn't really make friends. I was just like so shut off to women because I thought women are awful.
Yeah, the breakups with women in my life have been so much worse than any breakups with a dude.
Well, and then I was like hanging out with a lot of guys in high school, and then one of them sexually assaulted me, and then I was like, oh, everyone is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, there's no good people. It was so frustrating.
Which I think, again, coming back to the movie, is a nice thing that they don't make it like, here's this evil group of band guys, and Jennifer, who's just like this sweet, innocent character. It's like, yeah, people are all kind of shades of terrible.
Yes, and I think there's something interesting about the ideas of, like, Jennifer not being an ideal victim. In, you know, that there's the idea of, like, she goes with them willingly. And, you know, they don't, I like that the movie doesn't say, like, was she asking for it or whatever, but there is, like, that kind of thing of, like, normally in these movies, the virgin sacrifice would be Needy.
Right.
Because she's, like, the final girl. She's the innocent, nerdy, whatever.
Who is still having sex, which is great.
I know, I love that.
Because usually that's not how it goes.
But it's not her. It's Jennifer.
Yeah.
And I love that this movie makes you care, at least for me, makes you care about Jennifer and see how she's not just a bitch.
Right. I love that point of she's not the ideal victim. Like, I can't remember if we've ever talked about this, but there was one Halloween where I was with a friend. We met this guy. I thought he was really cute. We were talking to him, and then his friend left without him. He asked if he could get a ride with us to the bottom of the mountain because there was like no reception and his phone had died. And I was like, oh, you can charge your phone in the lift or whatever. So we get in the lift, and he's just sitting with us, and he doesn't ask to charge it. And then finally I bring it up, and he's like, oh, well, I don't know if they have a charger. And then I'm like, excuse me, do you have a charger that we can use? And they did, and he starts charging his phone. But I keep being like, all right, like, when's a good time for you to get out? And where are you staying? And he's super evasive, and then he only gets out of the lift with me in front of my house.
Oh, God.
Super creepy, super stressful. But I told a guy friend this story, this is the end of our friendship. I told a guy friend this story, and he was like, yeah, but you were talking to him at the party. Like, you thought he was cute.
Ugh.
Like, you obviously wanted to go home with him. And I was like, I did think he was cute. That doesn't mean I want him to come home with me.
No.
And literally, I've not spoken to that person since. It like blew up. It was this huge fight, and I got out of the car. But he fully was like taking the guy's side.
That's awful. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
had-
it is awful. And
in
it feels like
college,
that, right?
I had
Like,
a similar thing where I was at a party with these guys that I became friends with, and I had been friends with them for a while, and now I was dating Brad. And they didn't know Brad because Brad was not in college. But they knew I had a boyfriend all of a sudden, and I went to the party dressed how I always dressed because I was 19 and in college, you know. I wore a short skirt and a halter top. And this guy who was my friend came up to me and said, how dare you dress like that if you're not going to fuck one of us tonight?
oh my God.
And just to be clear, I hadn't fucked any of them ever.
Right.
So it was like really out of like even more so out of left field. But I was just like, whoa, you guys are not friends.
What did you say in the moment? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I remember freezing.
Yeah.
Because
think
I
would
was
do the same.
so I felt really humiliated by that
Yeah.
line. Like,
Because it's so reductive. It's like, that's your worth, is basically what it's saying.
that's exactly what it was. And then I never hung out with them again.
Good. Good for you. Hey, good for both of us for not talking to those people. Because it is really easy, and I've done it, you know, where
Yeah.
somebody does something really fucked up, and it's almost like part of your way of pretending they didn't.
Well, that's after my friend sexually assaulted me. He asked me to lunch the next day, and I went. That shit happens.
I've done that same thing.
I did say
I'm
at
really
the lunch,
sorry
I
about
was
that.
like, don't talk to me like, I said, don't talk to me like we're friends. Is what I did say.
Oh,
Because he
wow.
tried to pretend like, wasn't that funny? We're both so drunk. And I was like, don't talk to me like we're friends.
Wow.
Because that was me being like, this friendship is now over.
Wow. Good. Yeah, it's hard to do that. It's really hard.
And it makes that Jennifer scene of her sacrifice, I've seen this movie over 20 times. It never gets easier to watch that scene.
Wow.
Megan Fox is so good in that scene of just all the feelings.
Yeah. Pleading,
Like the
terror.
Yes, the pleading.
Oh.
And the hope when like Adam Brody starts to say he's about to stab her and then he's like, Jenny? And you think like, you see on her face like maybe something.
Maybe he's having second thoughts. He's not going to go through with it.
Mm.
And he's just singing the song.
Yes.
8675309.
It's brutal.
But I think that moment, like you said, of her, like she gets in the van willingly. She is attracted to the singer. It lets people like this guy.
She tells Needy, just stop.
Right. It lets people like him say, I wanted that.
Yeah.
That's on you. That's your fault.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's like a more of a conversation to be had about that. They don't cover it too much in the movie, which I think I'm okay with.
Yeah, me too.
That there isn't anything implied with like, well, you got in the van. What did you think was going to happen?
Right.
It's like, well, I didn't think I was going to be ritually sacrificed.
Right. That was the last thing I expected. I mean,
That would
even
be such
to
a fun
raped.
line. That feels like a Diablo Cody line, though, for someone to say
Yeah,
that.
Totally. I mean, even for a rape, I feel like now for us as adults, we're suspicious, we're skeptical, we're fearful.
You know, you just get on edge of like, is everyone out to get me?
Right. And sometimes it seems like the answer is yes.
Yeah, especially because then they're like, well, what was she thinking standing out, you know?
Right. It's so fucked up.
Guys, the patriarchy's hard.
I hope it's
We're
changing.
like about to cry.
Yeah.
How are we
And
going to do
instead we
audition
laugh.
after this? Okay, Colin Gray comes in. Colin Gray, who's from Veronica Mars. Also Amanda Seyfried from Veronica Mars, so I'm loving this. But Colin Gray is his character name. I can't remember what the actor's name is. The first time I saw this, I was super attracted to him.
Yeah, I
So
get
that's who I would have dated. That's not who I would have dated, but that's who I would have been interested in.
Same.
In high school, I was super into like emo. There's where it's like
I was too.
this is like the David thing from Fear. There's something wrong with him, but I bet he's really good deep down.
But he seems like he actually is a good guy. He's like into
Yeah.
poetry. He's
yeah,
nice.
when she's like he's really good in creative writing.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Because he goes up to Needy and is like, Needy, I'm really glad you're alive
Yeah,
from the fire, which is such a nice
it is
thing to say to somebody.
He and Adam Brody are the ones that I would like, and Adam Brody would be a nightmare devil man, and I would still love him. And then Colin Gray would be a nice guy.
Maybe. I can't tell if like he would really be. He gets the nice guy treatment because he goes up against Jennifer. But I
Right.
wonder
Right.
if he was just up against Needy, if he'd still be a nice guy.
Yeah, it's weird because you think that he has a crush on Needy, and then it's like, oh no, he's just this like typical guy who wants Jennifer, the hot girl.
Yeah, I do wonder that. Does he? Because it seems like he really does like Needy.
Right.
But then he goes
But maybe
after
not
Jennifer.
in a romantic way.
Well, maybe he's one of those where it's like all of us where you can't see what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Like he can't see that he really does like Needy. Or is he just not going after her because she's a boyfriend?
Right.
Because he does the ballsy thing of saying that to her in front of her boyfriend.
Saying, oh, that I'm really glad you're alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that to me makes it even more innocent. Like he's not trying to hit on her, and
I
that's
love
why
the
it's
boyfriend
above
gets
board.
jealous.
I know, it's really cute.
I'm emotional.
I also have feelings deep down, whatever he says.
I love the boyfriend.
And it's a great moment when he approaches Jennifer and he's kind of like stumbling over what he's trying to say, and she's like, "Are you asking me out? Are you trying to ask me
she's
out?"
like, just get on with it. What's your pitch?
Yeah. And you can see that even Needy is surprised by it. Like, she didn't see it coming that Colin wants to go out with Jennifer.
I don't think he was going to ask her out. I think he was going to beat around the bush.
What do you think he was going to say?
I don't know, but it made it kind of feel like maybe he's tried that before and he just beats around the bush and he never says anything.
Oh, interesting.
I thought she's like, just get on with it.
I thought it was just a testament to her, you know, that thing where you have like intense and extreme ego, but then like no self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's her, and that ego is making her go like, I know you're going to ask me out, so just say it. Guys ask me out all the time. Yeah. I know. I thought that she was wrong and was going to be embarrassed, and then she was right.
I love he's like, they're playing Rocky Horror at the Bijou. Because
Oh,
Rocky Horror was my very first date.
And then she's like, I don't like boxing movies. So good.
It's not a, never mind.
And then it seems like he and Needy sort of share a look of like, maybe she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. And that's when I feel like he doesn't care about that. He just cares that she's hot.
Yeah. He's a teenage boy.
Yeah. And like, oh, you're all the same.
Well, Jennifer gets her first victim, which is the football player.
Yes.
And I love the
We
shot
skipped
leading
this.
up to it where it's like that really fast pan with like metal music and it
Mhm.
pans all the way. Is pan the right word?
It zooms.
Zooms all the way over to him on the edge of the football field, which like the football field and then the woods.
Yeah.
And he's mourning his best friend Craig.
Mm-hmm.
And how she hits on him where she's like, I was probably like the last person to speak to Craig. And he was like, he said we'd be a totally cute couple or whatever.
Yeah, like his dying wish was for them to be a couple.
Isn't that funny?
Oh my gosh.
So,
And then
and-
she leads him into the woods.
yes.
And all these animals start to watch her like it's like a weird Cinderella.
So many animals.
Yeah.
There's like beavers and
Or
raccoons.
Snow White.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snow White. And deer. There's so many things.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is a dream up until, I mean, I know something bad's about to happen, but just being surrounded by cool forest animals.
And
I love
they're
that.
making out and he's like, you're so warm. Why are you so warm?
Right. Like he's cold.
Mm-hmm.
And she unzips her sweater.
Yeah, and this is part where I love the whole like expectation for men. This is made by women of
Mhm.
like she is unzipping her. She is not wearing a bra. You're about to see Megan Fox. Nope, she's gonna fucking eat you, you lunatic.
Yeah.
Like this is what you get.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see because there was a review I saw where it was like you don't see Megan Fox's boobs. Like that was a review I read.
Oh my God. It's so crazy to think this is just marketed as like a borderline porn.
Yeah, they wanted her to do interviews and like host an amateur porn site for marketing.
I read that.
And Karen was like, nope, I don't even tell her that because it'll hurt her spirit.
Yes.
Which is like, thank you.
Yeah, good.
How old is she?
So
Like
fucked up.
23 or something during this? Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah. It's so interesting that it's this like movie written and directed by women, devoid
About
of the male
women,
gaze.
For
But
women.
they turn it into this like male gaze shit
It's so
in the
upsetting.
advertising.
Ugh.
Yeah, like I said, I had never seen her in anything. I just knew she was in Transformers. I saw how hot she is, and I thought that's all she has. And I'm a part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
She's really great. She's a great actor in this.
I'm turning people one Jennifer's body viewing at a time. I love they're making out, and she's like, "Do you miss Craig?" While they're about to have sex. I love
It's
it.
great.
And then she eats him. Her mouth comes apart.
Mm-hmm. She's
We
like
get-
all teeth.
Yeah, we get a couple of those shots, and I like that it's not a big part of the movie. It's
Yeah.
like you only get it right when she eats a boy.
Mm-hmm. And
So
then
it's not gratuitous because it's not like the best CGI, but it's pretty good, and they use it like brief enough that you don't.
it doesn't take me out of it at all.
Right.
Then we have J.K. Simmons getting into his car, and he hears this screaming as what's his name?
Jonas.
As Jonas is being murdered grotesquely, and he thinks it's like wailing from grief.
Let it out.
Yeah.
And we keep getting Low Shoulder on the radio with that song Through
Mhm.
the Trees. By the end of this movie, I'm like on board for that song, and I'm like, can I download this? I'm really into it, which I don't know what that says.
It reminds me of, I feel like I'll be really depressed about the state of this country and where we're at, and I'll get in the car and want a distraction. And as soon as I turned it on, it's like Trump's voice on the radio, and I'm like, come on. Kind of reminded me of that just like inescapable trauma following you around.
And they become like famous off this as local heroes.
Mm-hmm, because their deal with Satan is working.
I love you. He's got the interview on the radio that Needy listens to where he's like, the real heroes are the people of Devil's Lake. And
So
nobody
good.
calls it. That's like the deal with Satan or whatever that no one notices.
Yeah. And there's a moment, I don't remember when it is, when there's like a girl in class who gets really defensive of them.
Yes, that's the same girl that called her lesbian gay earlier.
Oh, didn't connect that.
Mm-hmm. She's like, they're heroes. And
Needy's like, no, they're not.
yeah,
they
Needy's
didn't
like,
even
I
save
was
anyone.
there. They didn't save anyone. She's like, that's not true. It says so on Wikipedia.
The movie is really funny and scary. It succeeds on multiple levels.
So then we get the scene from the trailer that they used to promote this movie, which was Jennifer swimming naked in the lake,
Mm.
which like opens every trailer I could find.
And here it's actually a scene of her basically just washing the blood off of herself.
Yeah, and like there's almost like a little bit of like a rebirth of like I ate him
Mhm.
and now I'm like back to
Yeah.
my beautiful self. And I love the shot of her like drying her hair and like steam is coming off her body, especially after he
Yes.
just said that thing about like you're so warm.
Mm-hmm. There's also a moment, I don't remember when it comes in, where she's using a lighter on the tip of her tongue. She's just like burning her tongue.
I think that's the most iconic image from this movie.
Oh.
Like when you look this up on Instagram, that's the image that pops up a
Mhm.
million times.
That makes sense because it's
yeah.
also not a major spoiler, but it's a memorable, remarkable
But
image.
it's also like I'm hot and invincible.
Yeah. And she is.
I'm unkillable.
Mhm. She says as much.
That's right after this. She calls Needy and says, I feel so scrumptious. You know when you kiss a boy for the first time and your entire body is on vibrate? It's that good.
I love that moment, and especially
I'm having the best day since Jesus like invented the calendar.
and she's like, Jesus didn't invent the calendar. Also, juxtaposing that with like 30 people from the town have just been wiped out, and she's just like, I'm having the best day.
Plus the star football quarterback. She's on the phone with Jennifer when she gets call waiting, and it's Chip being like, the quarterback was eaten.
Right, right. So as far as she knows, Jennifer doesn't know yet about the
Right.
quarterback being eaten.
But still, Jennifer's being very insensitive.
Yeah. It's already been pretty traumatic for everybody.
It's been like 24 hours. And she says, Chip is looking really cute to me lately.
Oh my gosh. It's like a threat. It reminds me a little of Dolly Parton's Jolene, of like, please don't take him just because you can.
Well, and I don't think that she could have if
Right, I
Needy
agree.
hadn't broken up with him.
But she doesn't really break up with him.
But he says, you're breaking up with me.
Right.
And she's like, I just can't be with you right now. And I think he takes it as a breakup because they're in high school.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
'Cause
she's
he's really-
refusing to go to the dance with him. She wants him to stay home.
I think if she would have stayed with him and not done all that stuff, he would never, like cutting to the end a little bit, I don't think he
Yeah.
would have fallen for Jennifer's tricks.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Although, yeah,
Because he barely falls for it anyway.
right. But first, we get her killing Colin.
The next day, she has that amazing shot where everyone in the school is dressed in like gray and blues, and she's walking down the hall in her hot pink
Oh my
heart
gosh.
hoodie with her
The
like
heart earrings,
pink.
hoops.
Yes, the big pink plastic hearts, and then she's got like a big gold heart necklace.
So funny.
I love it, and like red lips. And
To
it's
me,
such a
that's-
good shot of like everyone else is gray and sad, and she is pink and beautiful.
And unkillable. To me, for some reason, that's the scene that feels like it requires the most confidence. Like, it's the one where I would feel
Strutting them
mortified
all.
in all of this pink. I just like, that struck me. I'm like, I could not do that.
That would be such a good Halloween costume.
Yeah.
And then he'd just be
Ooh.
like super confident all night to everybody.
Yeah. That would be really fun.
So a month goes by. We're at the 1 month anniversary now. They're talking about the 1 month anniversary and the murder of Jonas. And Jennifer's like, boring.
Yes, it's so good.
That Low Shoulder is going to be performing, and they're going to be, they're performing at their prom, and they're giving away 3% of the profits
3%.
to the
It's
victims.
so good.
And she's like, what about the other 97%?
Which, good on you, Needy.
That's just crass.
Yeah. And then she defines crass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. That's a very low percentage.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's not even like 5 is low, but 5 sounds like a real number, like 3.
Oh my God.
What are you doing?
That's where Jennifer kind of brushes off Low Shoulder. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
She's just staying out of it, even though she's like this revenge demon.
Yeah, she's distancing herself from the actual cause of her trauma.
Yeah,
and
she's
taking
protecting
it out on
herself.
the people closer to her.
And that's the first time she looks really bad
Mm-hmm.
because a month has passed and she hasn't
Which-
eaten any boys.
I love that Needy says she starts to look really bad for her. I love that. It's true. It's like she
Yeah.
still doesn't look bad. She just looks bad.
Yeah, she looks
for
really
her.
ugly. I mean, ugly for her.
Yeah.
But she says, "Boo, my skin is breaking out and my hair is so lifeless. God, it's like I'm one of the normal girls."
Mm-hmm.
Which the other day when I was over here doing the podcast with you, I was like, ugh, I just feel like that part in Jennifer's body. All those things were happening.
Just one of the normal girls.
But there's that time of the month where you're just like, ugh, my hair is awful and my
Mhm.
nails are awful and my skin, and I just need someone to fix me.
Yeah. And it's also cool how usually I
I
feel
just
like
need to eat a boy.
yeah. I feel like when we're in those modes, nobody else can notice, but we feel that way. And I think they do a good job of like, we can see it too.
Yeah.
She's still gorgeous.
She's still gorgeous. She doesn't have on all the makeup.
Mm-hmm. Her
And
skin is a little bad.
They do it more later, too, of, like, making her under eyes look really red.
Mm-hmm.
So that she does look like she's sick.
Yeah.
Not just that she looks normal.
Right. She's sick, but still, like, for her, she basically just looks almost like a normal hot girl.
And she says it's just wearing off or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's
that's
like, what's
when,
wearing off?
Yep, and that's where Colin comes in. Because she's not into going out with Colin until Needy says, well, I think he's really cool.
Right.
And then she goes, you do?
Hey, Colin. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I don't know if she even says his name. She probably barely knows his name.
I mean, don't you remember that idea, though? It's like as soon as I told someone I had a crush on somebody, then they were, like, after him.
Yes.
It's, like, so validating to the other person to be like, oh, you think he's cute? Okay, he must be cute.
Right.
It was the worst.
It really is. I've had that even as an adult. I'm like,
Yeah, as soon as you give someone value, then other
Yeah.
people see it. Does
Mhm.
that even make sense? But
And I've been susceptible to it too. I remember I was dating somebody and I didn't really like him, but I brought him to something. My friends were there, and one friend was like, "Oh my God, he's so cute," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll try to make it work."
oh no,
I didn't like him, and it like let me try and convince myself I did for a little bit longer than I should have.
And here's your intercutting scene of Chip and
Mhm.
Needy having sex, intercut with Colin going to quote unquote Jennifer's house, which is like a house under construction.
It's clearly not her house.
Yeah, which he says,
Mm-hmm.
and
he is ballsy by going in. It's like scary.
he so wants to fuck Jennifer.
Yeah. Which is where I think, he's
How
still
can you
just
not?
a high school boy.
Is he ever gonna get the chance to fuck Jennifer Check again?
Yeah. Yeah. So
And she's so drained. Like, she seems like has a hangover or something. She's, like, not her bubbly self. Because you see throughout the movie, too, and especially, like, at the end with Chip, when she's talking to him, that when she's trying to, like, win over a guy, she does, like, a baby voice.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not doing that here. She's very, like, drained.
Yeah. And very just, like, matter of fact.
Yeah, and he says, this isn't your house. And she's like, it's our house, baby. We can be mommy and daddy. It's crazy.
I do really want to read this script. I wonder if we can find it.
Well, what I read was that in the script they have sex, her and Needy, and then Diablo Cody cut it to make it more of a makeout scene. But in the initial script, she wanted them to have sex.
Wow. I wonder why they cut it.
I don't know. I mean, I know that when they did the makeout scene, everyone said it was like exploitative and exploitative. And that, Diablo Cody and stuff was like, how? It's not for men. It's a scene for these women. It's like, it's not about that. Like, people, I think it was just the same thing. People just hated this movie and they saw that as just like a grab.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at Megan Fox is hot and we're going to have her kiss her friend for no reason. Because, like, a lot of the reviews were like, that scene doesn't make sense.
Right.
And I think that scene totally makes sense.
I think it makes sense too. And I think it actually makes more sense if they have sex. Because neither of them are prudish and they clearly have.
And there's this tension between them.
Yeah.
That's building to somewhere. And after that scene, that's when Needy turns on her.
Mm-hmm. She starts to have sex with Colin, but then she also tears him apart, and Needy
her
senses
eyes
it.
turn reptile too.
Oh yeah, and it makes this cool reptilian sound.
And he backs up and like hits his hand on a tool and punctures it, and she's like, "Ugh, how emo." And then she breaks his hand and is like, "I need you to be scared. I need you to be hopeless.
That to me is also one of the.
I need you frightened."
Yeah, that's one of the scarier parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the idea that it's not enough to care. It's not enough to kill you. I need you to be horrified as it's happening.
Yeah, your body tastes better
Yeah.
or something if you're horrified.
Yeah.
But Needy, because of the connection, is she sees blood on the ceiling when they're having sex.
Mm-hmm.
Right before they have sex, she reads the condom and it's like swirly something, and he's like,
It's for the girl.
and she's like, cool. But I do like that.
It's
like,
supposed to feel good for the girl.
Yeah, he's so sensitive compared to like all these guys that are going after Jennifer.
Right. You know what I really liked also, as weird as it is like that he says specifically for the girl. Like he doesn't say it's supposed to feel better for you. I feel like that was such a thing in high school. You would just vaguely be like the girl, the boy. It's supposed to feel better for the girl. And yeah, so she starts seeing visions of what's happening and sensing
she sees blood on the
it.
ceiling, and then she sees Jonas in a chair in his room,
in her
Johnny
room.
Simmons' room.
Oh, right, they're at his house.
And
We also meet Johnny Simmons's sister a few times.
Yeah, I love they have to take pictures for the prom together.
Yeah. it's
Come
very
down, you
sweet.
take pictures with your sister.
Mhm.
So cute.
So they have
And then you see Megan sitting on the top of the chair that Jonas is in, and she's sitting almost like a bird.
yeah.
And she looks like very similar to that first night where she was vomiting the dark Hershey's
Mhm.
chocolate.
This very animalistic pose.
and like super demon smiling.
Yeah. That's one of
So
the creepier
creepy.
images too.
Oh, I think that might be the creepiest image.
Yeah.
It's so the way she's
Yeah.
sitting. Ugh.
And her expression.
And Amanda Seyfried starts like screaming out, and I love the reactions on Johnny Simmons' face where he's just like, oh, and he kind of starts like humping her
Yeah.
harder because he's like,
He
oh,
thinks
this
she's
is really
into
good,
it.
yeah. And then at the end when he's like, am I too big? Because she like cries out in pain,
Am I too big? Yeah.
and he like kind of smiles. It's so sweet.
It is. And really funny.
And then Needy almost hits her when she's driving home.
Yeah. And again, she's like covered in blood like a wild animal.
Mhm. And then she jumps onto Needy's windshield.
Mm-hmm.
That part always makes me jump.
I jumped too.
It's a very successful jump scare.
Yeah. Like I knew something was coming, so I was anticipating it and it didn't matter. I still jumped.
Cracks the windshield and smiles at her. And then I love
Mhm.
later when she's yelling at her and Jennifer's like, it didn't happen. She's like, the Kia. Like she names the car.
Yeah.
Like, how do you explain my mom's Kia?
Yeah.
There's so many specifics in this where they're also like, come on, let's get in the Sebring.
Right.
I just love all of that.
I feel like that's very Diablo Cody too.
Mhm.
All the specifics.
And she goes home crying, falls asleep on her mom's couch, and then wakes up and is like, I'm just going to go to bed. Climbs into bed. And Jennifer's there in her Evil Dead t-shirt.
She's like, is that my Evil Dead t-shirt?
Which, is all about possession and demons and all that. So it's a great call out.
Mhm.
And she's in the Evil Dead t-shirt and her underwear.
There's also something, yeah, exactly, very sexy about it. It's like,
Mhm.
like kind of, if you spend the night at a boy's house for the first time and then you wear his t-shirt, it's like, sure, it's also friendly and sisterly, but coupled with being in her underwear, it's like very suggestive.
And because she says a line in there where she's like, we could have a sleepover like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't she say we used to play mommy and daddy?
Oh, we used to play boyfriend, girlfriend.
Boyfriend, girlfriend. Mhm.
Yeah. I love that.
And she kisses her.
Mhm.
Jennifer kisses Needy.
Needy
and it's
kisses
this-
her back.
Well, first Jennifer kisses her, and it's this kind of Jennifer's on the bed, and she leans over, and she's kissing Needy, and Needy is like in shock of like what the fuck is happening, and then Jennifer pulls back and leans back on the bed, and then Needy moves and like gets on top of her and
Mhm.
starts kissing her on the bed, and I love that idea that like Jennifer is just like, let's see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
and then she kind of pulls back, and I love that they let Needy make the next move.
Yeah, it's almost like Jennifer's baiting her or
Yes.
breadcrumbing her, which
Yes.
I think continues what we've already learned about her of like being pursued constantly and also
Mhm.
knowing how to weaponize her sensuality. And I agree.
And just from a script standpoint, I like that it gives Needy the proactiveness.
Mhm.
She's not just reacting, she makes the choice too, so that you know that she is into Jennifer.
right.
There is like that weird sexual tension between them that the movie has kind of been hinting at, but
I mean,
now
it's very
you see
clear, I think,
like
at the show, at the Low Shoulder show,
Mhm.
it's so clear that there's something between them, or at least that Needy feels something for Jennifer.
Yeah, do you think Jennifer does before she's possessed?
I think she does. I think it's a very different dynamic. Like, I think Jennifer's always sort of the upper hand, and she's the one to be admired. You know that saying how in relationships there's always like a gardener and a flower?
No, but that makes sense.
Right? It does. And I feel like Jennifer's always been the flower and Needy's the gardener.
And then she tells her the story. Because
Mhm.
Needy's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Jennifer tells her the whole story about what happened, which we've talked about.
Did she say something like, "Are you dead?"
Jennifer says, it should have killed me, but for some reason it didn't. And Needy goes, maybe it did,
Mm-hmm.
which I love.
I think that's also a great reference to, again, allusion to rape and stuff, is that idea of like a part of you dies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you have to grow that part back, or like build a new one, like a dead flower, and then you just have to plant another one.
Well, they say in Unbelievable, this isn't something you get over, it's something you carry,
Yeah,
which I think is true.
I think so too.
Long pause because we're feelings. But
Yeah.
we know that the sacrifice doesn't take because she's not a virgin.
Right.
And when you do a sacrifice, I love that this is like a fact. It's like, well, when you do a sacrifice and it's not a virgin, then a demon inhibits the body.
Of course. I also think it's very interesting.
These fucking idiots.
Why do they even need a virgin if it's still going to make all of their dreams come true? Which
because
it does.
It doesn't make all their dreams come true.
At the
demon
very end.
comes to get them.
Yeah,
that's
true.
I mean, and it only takes 2 months or something. Because she
Right.
says it's been 2 months since it happened in the beginning.
Right. You'd think, though, that the devil would be happier with a non-virgin because it gets to inhabit the non-virgin.
I just feel
and
like
wreak more havoc. But
I feel like the devil is probably in the details. Is that the dumbest thing I've said?
No, it's great. Yeah. That scene is so brutal and so good. And I love how flip Adam Brody's character is about murdering somebody. And also the bandmates, like, there's a part of me that's just like, well, Adam Brody's the star, and it kind of mirrors what it's like in bands where people only give a shit about the lead singer and everybody else is just like background. But that's what happens literally here. Like, they have like a combined total of like 8 words or something, you know?
Well, I love in the beginning too. She says something about like Jennifer wouldn't date a drummer.
Yeah, right.
She would only date the lead singer.
And then it's like, no offense, and I think we're supposed to assume that Chip is a drummer.
Chip is, yeah. He says that. He's like, I'm a drummer.
And then she says maybe she would date you if you were like a drummer and a singer.
And he's like Phil Collins, and she's like, who's that?
Love Phil Collins. Yeah, that was great.
And after Colin died, nobody seemed to care anymore. Sorrow was last week's emotion. There's some of these lines that feel so like Heather's to me.
Yeah, totally.
Because I would put this. I was looking it up on Amazon because I was like, I should own this movie. Why don't I own it? I watch it so much. And it was like, would you like to also buy? And it was like The Craft, Heathers, and Jawbreaker. And I was like, yes, I would.
All of them.
Like, yes. She does all the research in the library at the occult section.
Mm-hmm.
She learns in the book, though, that you have to stab a succubus in the heart.
Yeah.
It's the surest way to kill the beast.
Yeah. And also a human being.
Yeah, I think it'll kill just about anybody but a zombie.
Yeah. And she's telling him not to go to the dance because this is like a buffet for Jennifer, who's feasting on boys.
After the kiss and that whole story, though, they're done. Jennifer and her don't
After
speak
the
again.
kiss? Oh, right.
And, like, is there
they just
something
are
there?
avoiding each other.
Is there something there, though, about, like, she opens up about, and I don't know, so maybe cut this if it's so terrible. But Jennifer opens up about all of her trauma, and then Needy's not her friend anymore.
Oh, interesting.
And I know that in the movie, it's like, well, Needy's not her friend because she's a demon trying to kill boys.
Right.
But there's something interesting to me about that idea that she finally opens up and shares this horrible night, and Needy's, like, not on her side.
Very interesting. My take would be, and I think it is worth keeping. I think they're both interesting, and it could be either one. But I think it's like they have this moment of physical intimacy, and then they both recoil, which is also a thing that happens.
And then she's like, I have to destroy her.
Mm-hmm. Which reminds me a bit of that John Mulaney joke where he says, like, about his ex-girlfriends, like, anyone who's seen my dick and met my parents has to die, basically. And I think it is that kind of thing.
Okay, so they go to the prom. She's dressed all 80s. I love Jennifer smearing the concealer all over her face, and she looks like she wants to cry because she's hungry. And she goes after Chip, and she does the baby voice. I need to talk to you about, I can't do a baby voice, but she does it so good.
She does. And then she tells Chip that his girlfriend has been having an affair with Mr. Emo, Colin
Gray. I love, how she's been really upset? Well, it's not just because he was, like, brutally murdered and stuff. It's because, I love that line.
That's so good.
Yeah, she says they've been having sex regularly, on a semi-regular basis.
Mm-hmm. And
I care about you so much more than I've ever had the guts to admit.
I feel like he does believe it, and I don't buy that he believes it.
I buy it because of that scene earlier where he was surprised you're friends with Colin Gray.
Right.
So I think there was that. I think that scene is there for a reason, to be
I think so too, but at the same time she's been like, Jennifer is evil, and he's like, I know. And she's like, no, pure evil. So maybe at this point you start to go, oh fuck, this is what my girlfriend's talking about.
Here's where I'm like too feminist or whatever, too on the other side of it. I'm like, high school boys are dumb.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's insecure, and the girlfriend is pushed away from him, and Jennifer's saying this is why, and I think he believes it.
So then she pulls him to, what is this place?
It's an aquatic center.
Of course.
We have these where I'm from in Plano, but ours are not
This is like
run
decimated.
down. This one is run down and gross, and there's like vines and the water is so gross. And she's like, let's go swimming.
Yeah, and it looks like you would get a disease from swimming there.
They start kissing, and she says, say I'm better than needy.
Yes, that moment's so good. This is where you really go like, oh, she's just an insecure little baby.
But they're making out, and then it cuts to
It never
Needy,
even feels
who
like they're
feels
really
it.
making out. It kind of
Right.
feels like she's just kissing him and he's not stopping her.
Right.
Yeah.
It cuts to Needy, who feels the makeout on her lips
Mm-hmm.
because they're connected, and then she has to run all over town to get to this aquatic center.
Mhm.
You'd think the aquatic center is by the high school, but it's not, apparently.
And she runs there and she hears him screaming. And so
Mhm.
she runs in.
I also love, it's such a quiet little thing, but they're sitting, Jennifer and him are sitting on the side of the pool before anything happens, and she goes, I feel so empty, and he says, me too.
Yeah.
And it's just such a nice, like, everyone's just trying the best that they
Well,
can.
I see it and I liked it a lot too, as he feels like emotionally empty inside and she's hungry.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, why don't you just come here and kiss me again?
Yeah.
Like, that'll make me feel better.
Right. And this is his one moment of finally connecting to her because she's always been this sort of surface, shallow person to him.
But he says, I can't. They start kissing. He's like, I can't. I'm sorry. This is weird.
And that really sets her off because she wants to be better than Needy. And I think she knows
Yep.
he can't because of Needy.
And then Needy comes, and Jennifer's eating Chip's neck.
And then she floats up. This is one of my favorite moments. And he's like, she can fly? You didn't say she can fly. What does Needy say? Like
She's just hovering.
She's just hovering. And then she's like, you always minimize
It's not
me.
that impressive.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
it's so good.
God, do you have to undermine me?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Do you have to undermine everything I do? You are such a player hater. This is like full of great lines. I do love the pepper spray comes back because the mom gave Chip pepper
Yeah.
spray
Yes.
because boys are being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And she sprays Jennifer with the pepper spray. But this is where they really have this big thing where she's like, you were never a good friend, is what Needy says.
Yeah.
And she starts naming all these things. And then it ends with Jennifer being like, and now I'm eating your boyfriend. Well, at least I'm consistent.
Yeah. Great. She's right. She is consistent.
And she says, why do you need him? You could have anybody. Why Chip? Is it just to piss me off or are you that insecure? And Jennifer says, I'm not insecure. That's a joke. How could I ever be insecure? I was the snowflake queen.
Love it.
I'm just going to read. Now I'm just reading the script. Yeah, 2 years ago when you were socially relevant.
Yeah. Wonder what happened that shifted.
I don't know. Oh, and then this line, which I don't like, and when you didn't need laxatives to stay skinny. They're so young.
I like it because it is like, yeah,
Ugh.
it starts so young.
Ugh.
And
so
I
rough.
like, I mean, I think she is so skinny in this movie. So I do like sort of calling out, like, this isn't normal.
That's true. And she says that she's going to eat her, and she's like, I thought you only murdered boys. I go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Perfect.
Jennifer says.
Such a great moment.
Ugh. And then Chip stabs her,
Mm-hmm.
and she says, I'm sorry, I love all the script.
No, go.
Got a tampon. You look like.
Oh,
What
yeah.
does she say? You seem like you might be plugging.
Yeah, that's right.
And Jennifer leaves, and then Chip dies. He
And
says
then-
that line where he's like, I think I was dead before you came, but I woke up just to see you or something.
It's very romantic.
It's
I woke
very-
up when I heard your voice.
Ugh, it's so good. And then we cut back to the scene from the beginning where
Mhm.
Needy is going to kill Jennifer in the bed.
We're coming up on one of my favorite parts. So she climbs in through the window.
Mm-hmm. She attacks her,
What does she attack her with?
a box cutter, because she says, do you know what this is for? Cutting boxes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get your vagina.
hmm
um,
And then she.
Jennifer bites her. That's
Yeah.
important for later.
Yes.
Cross out Jennifer. Jennifer
Mhm.
goes like full on demon, and they levitate, and they're fighting in the air.
Which I'm like, how did they shoot that? It looks so
Love
great.
it.
Mhm.
And what is like the horrible thing that happens? She rips off Jennifer's BFF necklace
yes.
and throws it to the ground, and that breaks the spell, and Jennifer falls down to the bed. Like,
Wait, why do you think that
heartbroken.
breaks the spell?
Not the spell, but like the spell of like her fury.
Their friendship.
I think like she's in this fighting thing, and it feels like it literally like breaks her heart.
Jennifer's heart.
Yeah,
To have it torn off.
yeah, because then she stops fighting and falls to the ground.
And then she gets stabbed with the box cutter in the heart and she goes, my tit, which is my favorite part.
And Amanda Seyfried goes, no,
your
heart.
Oh, so good.
And
my
I was-
tit.
I was
Killed
watching
me.
a thing with Diablo Cody where she was like, that whole thing is supposed to be like, I know the audience is just staring at Megan Fox's tits, but there are feelings involved in this. Like, that's not what this
interesting.
is about.
I also like it. The way I saw it was more like, to your point of her always being put in this box. she's just occupying that box. She's just a body. And so she's not even thinking about her heart or being fallible. She's just like, now my tit's ruined, you know? But also I just found it very funny. And then her mom comes in. And by the way, Jennifer's mom looks 10 years older than Jennifer.
Well, I mean, I could imagine that in the town like this.
Maybe she got knocked
Teen
up at 10.
pregnancies. Yeah. But so then we find out that Jennifer, when she bites Needy, if you get bitten by a demon, you absorb some of the abilities. So that's why Needy's so strong at the mental hospital.
Yeah, when she's a kicker, she's not just any old kicker. She's a demonically possessed kicker, which
she breaks out of
has
solitary.
a lot of strength. Yeah, she levitates and looks out her window.
Because they're playing Low Shoulder. I hate this song.
Oh, they're playing it in the prison?
Yeah.
Oh,
At the
I didn't
mental
catch that.
hospital. And she like covers her ears. That's the very beginning of the movie before you know the
I
song.
see.
But I have seen this movie so many
Yeah.
times.
Right.
She breaks out. She hitchhikes.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, "Where are you going?" She's like, "I'm following a band." And they're like, "Oh,"
She's like,
he goes,
"It's
"There
their-
must be some band." And she's like,
It's their last show. Great line.
And drives off, and we see the road sign, low shoulder.
And then we get the over the credits.
Which I love. I love that it's like, that's the end of the movie. Violet by Hole is playing. The very end is her killing the band.
Yeah, you see like crime scene photos and
I love it.
And to me that's also a really great summary of like, even though this friendship is over, there's still a loyalty, and she's still got Jennifer's back at the end of the day.
Vengeance.
If you are anyone in this movie, who do you think you are?
Needy. I totally have to be. It's totally Needy.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because Needy actually is looks, my high school best friend kind of looks like Needy, which is kind of cute.
Amazing.
But I totally I don't know. It's like shit. Hard question. Because it's like I said earlier, like I have been the Jennifer where I was like the cool hot friend that like is like, I'm taking you here and we're staying out late and like, you know, lie to your parents, like that kind of thing. But then I've also been the like kind of like, I'm totally in love with you and I'll do anything that you want, and like, you know, like let's make our outfits cute, and like like the lower status one.
Right.
You know what
I'll
I
make
mean?
my outfit cute, but not as cute as yours.
Right.
I think that's kind of the Diablo Cody point, though, is like she's both.
Right.
Like she's Diablo Cody and she's Brooke.
And
Yeah.
both the characters, I just love how fleshed out they are. Like I just love that they're not just, you know, this is what happens when a woman writes female characters. Like,
Yes.
you know, like I love how dudes are always like, I don't know how to write a female character, and it's like, well, you just write a man character and slap a girl name on it.
Yes,
because
exactly.
They're all just people.
We're just people.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who you are, Jessica?
I would definitely have been like a Needy in high school, but I didn't have a boyfriend. I
Yeah.
wasn't sexually active, so I was like the stereotypical. But I was like best friends with the popular girls, and God, is that hard? It's so hard because you'll like a guy and
You don't get them.
and the guy will be like best friends with you and hanging out with you, and you're like, he really likes me, and then like there comes that point where they were like, oh, I really like your friend, and I'm hanging out with you to get in with her.
Yep.
It was heartbreaking lessons I learned.
That's awful. My best friend had told me that I was that sometimes. So I guess I am like, oh, both parts, but I do feel much more like Needy, I think, because of the Amy relationship, and also feeling very much like that exact moment of like trying to protect her, and she's like, no, leave me the fuck alone. I'm going to get in this creepy van with these weirdos. Let me live my life.
Yeah.
But also the part where Jennifer, that first scene where she doesn't feel right. And she's like, "Ugh, my hair is like limp and dull, and my skin is terrible, and my cuticles, all that." I feel like that once a month.
Yeah. I
That
need to
part is
drink
so relatable.
Human blood.
to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she's like, "Are you PMSing?" And it's like that. I feel like the way that they show like kind of that PMS idea
Yeah.
is so relatable.
Yeah.
True.
Totally.
Where she's like smearing the makeup on her face.
Oh,
I
that
never
scene.
Thought of it as PMS, but it makes so much sense because I try not to eat meat because I love animals, but right around my period, we need blood because you
Yeah,
lose so much
iron,
blood.
yeah.
So it is kind of a perfect
But
parallel.
Yeah,
Needy's
it
like, "Are you
totally is.
PMSing?" And she's like, "PMS isn't real. It's just made up by the boy media to call women crazy."
But then you really do need blood around your period, just
you're
like
losing
she
blood.
does.
The funny
Yeah.
thing about like my problem with PMS is like PMS doesn't make me crazy. It just lowers my tolerance
Right.
for all of the bullshit
That's
that I
true.
tolerate the rest of the
Yeah.
time. Like,
Oh, that's so true.
It's
like
not like I'm
extra
suddenly, like-
sensitive, but it's all real.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
My
it's,
patience is zero.
right.
Yeah.
It's like the rest of the time I'm like, you know,
Accommodating.
kowtowing to all of
Yeah.
your fucking
Ugh.
bullshit, and then when I'm PMSing, I'm like, why would I do this?
Yeah.
Why would I tolerate this?
Yeah, fuck this shit. This
Yeah.
is bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you want to promote anything? Social medias?
Was the thing on Hulu?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only have one social media. I just have Instagram. It's Anna_ANNA_LORE, Anna Lori. And yeah, my Hulu Blumhouse thing that comes out on the 7th that I'm super excited about.
So cool.
That'll be good.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to watch it.
Me too. I can't wait to see it. Maybe we can do an episode on it. Thanks for listening.
Yay. Happy Galentine's Day.
Happy Galentine's. Bye.